Blanc will be locked in for Seal in the mid lane. He's played that once so far, went 6, 4, and 5.
So, not going to lock themselves in an AD carry. You would expect maybe the likes of that Lucian. Draven is a little bit of an extreme, but that to get banned away here from Clutch. The mismatches in terms of the mid matchup locked in from the side of Royal Youth. And Lissandra, the ban that will come through, is something that was a little bit contentious in terms of where that champion is at. Meta read all over the place, but has been a long time answer to LB. And Seal definitely going to pay his respects in this one here.
Camille being banned out as well by Clutch, so they think that Olaf is definitely going into the jungle to match up versus the Elise. As you say, the Lissandra, a commonly chosen counter pick into the LeBlanc, and we'll see where Royal decide to go with their final ban. I'm surprised to see Clutch not actually targeting AD carries with their bans.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Camille's going to hit the deck, and yeah, there was the Draven hover, the Lucian hover. There are a bunch of options, and even the mages, like the Syndra is banned, of course, but you have maybe the Cassio if you wanted to go full extreme down on the bottom side to deal with something like the Kai'Sa. For Clutch, Cody really is that like late game insurance policy. They like to play top side. Once he gets through like a safe mid game, gets towards his 3-item spike, then really does come online. So Kai'Sa is a bit of it like a nothing pick, won't do much for a very long time, but it's just stable there, and the response is really going to be here on the hands of Royal Youth.
Scales really well, is safe when you get that Ultimus as well, the big shield helping you out quite a lot. Draven is the final ban from Clutch, and now we'll start to see where Royal Youth want to target in a pick ban phase.
And it has to be an AD carry. If you're going to blind your top lane and just get counter-picked by Huni on the other side and then have to deal with an Elise, it certainly could be troublesome, but Jinx going to get locked in.
Yeah, this isn't something that Pilots played at all in summer, so I was a little bit surprised by it. My gasp of aspiration, but there's Lucian as well. That could be mid Lucian, could be mid Kai'Sa. Rumble probably going up towards the top lane.
Yeah.
We've seen that banned against Clutch a lot of times already this tournament.
And already it was like a super quick lock-in. This was an expected play coming through. The Lucian, the Rumble, insta-locked by their respective players here in Royal Youth. 10 seconds left on the decision to be made. What are they going to throw up towards the top side?
Yeah, the question is, do you think you're dealing with a Rumble or a Lucian, really? Because if you think you're dealing with a Lucian, picking something that can be harassed down could be very dangerous. It's Kled for Armut. It is the 5th time he's played that in summer, one of his most played, so he's very comfortable on it. But will Damonte be picking the Lucian in mid, or will Huni take it up towards the top side? That's the big question here.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. They've got until 20 seconds before that does get locked in.
What would you be thinking right now? What would your decision be?
I think Rumble on the top side may fare a little bit better in terms of like the mid matchup as well, right? Like LeBlanc with an Olaf just running into you on the Rumble could be a very difficult time, and we'll see where they want to throw that one. But I like that Royal Youth kind of stood their ground. They just locked in the composition. They've got a late game insurance policy in that Jinx being picked up from Pilot, and top side of the map, they've got all of the buttons they need to look for these fights, and I think there's going to be a very scrappy start to this series here.
It definitely is. Damonte on Lucian mid, running Ignite as well. Not really taking any prisoners in the first game of this best of 5. It's the first time he's played it. The only other AD carry he's played in the mid lane is the Tristana once, alongside Corki if you count Corki once. But Clutch Gaming coming out swinging early on here. We'll see if Royal are able to match them.
Yeah, and the one thing that I really do like about Lucian into LB is he has a bunch of options. Lucian, more of a spell flinger AD carry than most. He doesn't just right-click all the time, but if you go for the Bork when the LB distorts in, if you know you want to get the fight, it's the active coming down, the dash forward, the commit for the full extended trade. Of course, this is like 1-2 items deep before he gets to that point, but yeah, certainly creative stuff coming out in the first game of this best of 5 here from Clutch.
Here we go, on to Summoner's Rift. The LCS taking on the TCL, North America, up against the might of Turkey. These teams have only met 3 times in the past. It's a 2-1 to NA so far, and I'm sure Royal will want to upset that. They've never met in knockouts. Neither of these teams have ever been eliminated by the other, but we'll see if Clutch Gaming and Royal Youth can make their way to World's Groups today.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
And already, Lyra on the Elise. Going to go for the classic jungle, place a ward in. Dotbush go back by himself a sweeper, so that he has some access to clearing out that vision the opponents will place down. Of course, Elise known to be an early game ganker. If you get those off, then snowballing out of control. When you have lanes like the Rumble, like the Lucian with Ignite, this could take over the game, but you have to say it could be matched. This is A very, very interesting start to this one, and Closer, the man on your screen right now, has just been a big proponent for this Royal Youth lineup.
He really has, and that battle between the junglers is a story we'll see play out throughout the best of 5, because Lyra really struggled on anything that wasn't Elise in the group stage of play-ins. He went 10, 2, and 12 on the Elise, and on everything else, he was just dying all of the time. But Closer actually performed from day one against Damwon in their first game. He was the guy finding assassinations on the Qiyana. So we'll see if he's able to match Lyra in the early jungle in this game.
Yeah, and it has been kind of interesting to track. Of course, Lyra's been shying away from his most played champion in the Skarner. It's been a long time since we've seen that one, and yeah, as you mentioned, it we'll have to kind of keep an eye on the matchup as it does play out. Does Closer want to go for the fancy clear? You can aggro the Gromp on the side, do your blue buff. You get incredibly low, maybe not willing to risk something like that against anything that Clutch has put together.
Of course, one of the clears that really only works on Olaf, because the lower you go, the more attack speed you have, and then you can lifesteal up through the vicious strikes. It makes it pretty easy for an Olaf to get early clear. Vulcan not going to hit the Q there. Damonte trading here onto Seal, who pops a potion. That's a passive gone down as well. Tolerant stunned up just a tad, but Cody Sun is being harassed by the Royal bottom lane.
Yeah, and this kind of game is almost a jungler's dream and a nightmare at the same time. You speak to professional junglers, they go onto like the world stage, a performance with so much gravitas behind it, and then everybody doesn't go for the hard transit lane, but you can see already mid lane, bottom lane, everybody opting in early and ability to come in and clean up. Of course, we're only like 2.5 minutes into this game, but yeah, certainly looks like one where there will be tons of options.
Oh, I love it when people say things like that. I love it when people tell me there's going to be a lot of action early on. That's a play-by-play's dream. Top lane is a lane that the analyst desk focused on just a tad because, of course, Huni has so consistently been the carry for Clutch throughout the regular season, the player that his team plays around. And Armut, after having a disappointing start to Worlds, has actually really stepped up as well. So we'll see if he and Closer can combine, because that Rumble is relatively easy to gank early on.
Yeah, because it's kind of twofold. For Armut, I really like the confidence in interviews. Behind the scenes, like speaking to Law, and he's a player that, at least to the English-speaking audience, right, like coming out is like, yeah, you know what I mean, like down one, that's a super tough situation, but against their opponents, like, yes, maybe we do lose to Flamengo early, and then we will ramp back towards the rest of the tournament. Closer does actually get some eyes on Huni here, pathing down the river against a ward. Lyra's on the other side of the map as well. This could be somewhat interesting. Huni is going to get spotted out by the Scrying Plant.
And the question here is who can react quicker to this, because Huni is getting pushed away. Closer doesn't have Smite. Can Seal come across? You see Armut coming down from the top lane. Huni maybe caught out just a little bit. Lyra on his way. Damonte going in for the fight. Clutch want this one. Closer already down to half HP. Seal flashing in, but Closer's gonna fall first. First blood to Damonte. It's Tanner time early on here. Seal getting chased away as well. That's 2. Damonte has fallen, but Lyra and Huni are on the chase. Armut takes a harpoon to the back, and is he gonna be able to get away? No flash left. A great joust will get him to safety for now.
And all over the first spawn of the Scuttle Crab in the top side, you see Closer, he was tracking Huni down the river, everybody opting in for that play, but 2 for 1 at the end of the day. Lyra cleans up the Crab off the back end, and yeah, Clutch certainly feeling good about the start to this one.
Yeah, get about a 700 gold lead just off that. Getting the kill onto Damonte means he can harass Seal a lot easier in that mid lane. Summoners burnt across the board. No flashes left on the top side of the map. Means that those future ganks become a lot easier as well for both junglers.
And it's interesting with how this play progresses. Rumble is one of those champions that almost guarantees you prio on the top side of the map. That's why Huni has so much time to just wander down the river. He stands there, hits S, whilst just flamethrowering the Olaf, and this is kind of the detriment of the Olaf. You have to commit, you have no get out of jail free cards at the back end, and Elise being second to the play feels very, very nice with the Cocoon. Top side though, okay.
Vulcan,
bottom.
so low. Seal going in for this. Vulcan, one more auto might be enough. They can't quite get him. He just about survives. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Armut is being focused down by Lyra and Huni. There's no
the
way
remount.
to go. He remounts. The joust has already been used. There's one harpoon. They can go for the dive. It's pretty easy. Spiderling coming in. Lyra looking to sink in the banks. Dismount. Lyra's gonna fall as well. A 1-for-1 trade in the top lane.
By the skin of their teeth, almost everybody walking away, but Clutch have to trade on the top side. Bottom side of the map though, Royal Youth closing in on this Infernal Dragon. Zero
Such a good
contest,
dragon.
and that's a real good time. After what was a failed bot dive, you get all the summoners are out, but Nautilus just, with a sliver of HP, walks away from the play. It's not fruitless. Walking away with an Infernal Dragon is a super good time.
Benefit for Clutch in the mid lane is that Damonte had some time to farm up by himself. He's about 15 to 16 CS ahead in that lane now. And Seal not getting anything out of his roams is going to cost him as the
Yeah.
game does progress.
As we will take another look at how this started on the top side. Notice the pink ward gets placed so Lyra knows he is in Fog of War right now. Walks out of the bush, a slight mistake, so the Cocoon knows, Armut knows rather, where the Cocoon is coming from, but just a hard commit. Remount on just 0 HP. And that does mean that the Elise at the end of the day has to trade her life for the kill.
Oh, Vulcan's going to face check straight into closer
Oh.
here. Long range zap is going to connect, and Vulcan really has nowhere to go. Teleport coming in here from Clutch. They're going to try and turn it around. Vulcan falls first. Here comes Huni. But look at Royal. They just get the hell out of there.
Yeah, TP comes through, but Huni doesn't have his R available. The Equalizer not to be seen in this play. Closer, cancelling his recall. He knows the dive could be here. Lyra showed on the wall.
Does Huni have ult? No. No equalizer. Demonte's on his way down, has the culling, but are they really going to look for this? That's so dangerous.
If that hook landed, that could have been a kill onto Cody Sun. One of those situations where, yes, you are being the aggressor, you have members behind them, but they can just run forwards onto you, then the play gets completely flipped on its head. And look, we're 7 minutes in, there's been skirmishes, dives all over the place.
I love it. 6 kills in 7 minutes. This is the sort of League of Legends I want to watch.
Double Infernal spawn as well in 3.5 minutes. For compositions like the ones these two teams have opted into here for Game 1, it's kind of the dream scenario. It's exactly what you want. Damage galore all over the place and everybody fighting for everything.
And I do want to bring our attention back to some of the key points we looked at early on in this matchup. We said top lane was going to be a key impacting factor on people getting ahead. And Armut is so important for Royal as he comes in with the Skull Charge. That's what it's called.
I think you were trying to say he was going into Narnia.
That is exactly what I was trying to say. But you can see Armut here, in wins, if he gets ahead, his team is much more likely to win. But when he falls behind early on, Royal tend to just lose out bit by bit by bit in these games. So him having 2 kills early on, him not being too far behind Huni in CS is a very good sign for Royal Youth.
Yeah, and you can see the forward percentage as well there. Was a positive one, so spends a little bit of time. The opponent's side of the map, of course, does get played around by Royal Youth. Huni has spent so much time just being proactive on the top side of the map. The flank down the river is now looking to pick on
All
the
of Clutch
Olaf,
are
but
here.
this is all 5 members rotating to mid lane.
Everyone is in the mid lane right now. Armut's going to meet up with Huni, who has the equalizer. At the moment, he's overheated. Lyra on his way across. Close is still only level 5. Doesn't have the Ragnarok if he gets caught out with a Cocoon. Red buff started up here by Clutch, and Demonte's coming across. Should be an easy enough secure now for Clutch. They forced Royal out of their red side jungle.
Yeah, one of those unfortunate situations. You see how much time Closer spent just kiting around his red buff, wanting to find access, wanting to find a way in, but mid lane pushing here for Demonte now goes back and gets himself the Cutlass, so this LeBlanc matchup, now that there really hasn't been jungle intervention in the isolated 1v1, there's been skirmishes around, they've both left lanes and rotated all over the place, but this is just such a forgiving build, and with the ability to just isolate, he's been pushing up and walking everywhere.
So there's a really interesting decision being made here by Clutch. If you look at the minimap, you can see they brought their bot lane up into top side, and they've allowed the bot lane of Royal to push in bot. This actually means that Royal can control that total bot side river with the Infernal coming up in a minute and a half time. What Clutch get out of this is Rift Herald control, which is what they always want. But my question to you is, would you take it in this situation?
Yeah, I think it is a hard one, right? Because when you're thinking about, we've seen the low-key series, they go for the lane swap. Rumble was like the old champion of I will just eat away if you try and play on the bottom side of the map. And yes, I am just a one guy chilling underneath the turret and you guys are looking for it. Equalizer can be so impactful.
Royal swapping into it
Yes.
because the question is moot in the end, but it was an interesting thought experiment there for a second, Ejim.
And it is something that teams have done to Clutch this tournament already. Like if we're saying the 10-minute Clutch Rift Herald, NA teams are saying it, all of the emerging regions come in and their opponents, they know this is the expected play. And matching on the top side of the Rift means that Royal are looking to match here.
No one
They
stepped
wanna
in
look
that
for the
bush.
fight.
No one stepped in the bush. There was a control ward in it. Now they spot it out. So Royal, as you say, are matching. Armut, of course, has an easier way to get in the fight as his charge is coming off cooldown pretty soon. And Royal might look for this one as the Rift Herald has been started up by Clutch.
Yeah, Pilot left alone, catching a wave on the top side though. Clutch will start this one up, but for the Jinx, it will be a long way walking around to the rest of his team, and it looks like a concede.
They've just given it up. They've accepted that Clutch have control over the Rift Herald. They'll push out mid instead. Fight is starting here.
Okay.
Tuni was hooked in. Armut on the front line. There's a lantern there for him to grab, but the equalizer comes down. Charge away from Armut. Jinx not there with the team yet. Rift Herald already secured by Lyra. So Clutch get what they want, but now Royal have the path down towards this Infernal Dragon.
Do Clutch actually want to go for the contest? They can drop the Herald mid, force them to react to the play. You see Jinx being split off once again. Pilot just defending. It will be the second Infernal Dragon, so not an easy decision to make, but Hook's on.
Only onto Vulcan. Rift Herald is going to charge in mid. Damonte. Seal has to flash away from him, and that should be a mid lane tower here for Clutch. You see the sequence of events. You see the decision-making between these two teams. Do we fight for the Rift Herald? If not, we go for Infernal, but then we might lose our mid lane tower. They have been able to hold on to it for the moment, but Clutch have, because of those turret plates, got quite a substantial lead. 1,500 gold ahead at the 11-minute mark.
Yeah, substantial? It's kind of contentious here, I think, right? Like,
Okay.
if you look at the compositions that have been locked in, you have the Elise, you have the Rumble, they've made a lot of things happen early, but majority of them have been a even-ish trade, and given you're only 12 minutes into the game, double Infernal picked up, 1.5k gold lead. Yes, like at 10 minutes, that's significant, but for a Jinx, if she gets between like this 10 to 20, 25 minute mark,
Yeah.
double
trading.
Infernal is just straight up in the bank. Like, that's damage just chilling there waiting for you to hit those item spikes.
Is that trading decision-making we talk about, playing the side of the map that the enemy isn't on to try and get these small advantages.
Yep.
You give up a Rift Herald to get an Infernal, maybe lose some plates on your mid lane tower, but it's the sacrifice. How
Yeah.
much gold is 2 Infernals worth?
And it's one of those things that you like to see. Games of League of Legends really suck when one team is like, oh, okay.
Flash! Hook! Cody flashes away. Pilot's on the chase here. The zap does connect. Looking for some more damage onto Vulcan, but isn't going to be able to put too much more down. Flash for Flash in the mid lane. Cody's son is low.
Hook. Very nicely
Hook
done.
lands onto Vulcan. The flay coming out. Lyra's off towards the side of this, but the super mega death rocket isn't quite going to connect. Lyra is up towards the bottom of the fight, but Closer's on his way in as well.
Here's
Huni
the
has
flank.
equalizer. This is not good for Royal. They are caught up. The jump in from Closer. He takes down one. The flash away from Pilot. Teleport coming in here as Armut is going to join the fight. But really, in the end, Royal get a kill and they get out.
Yeah, Clutch just cannot continue the play. No CC between everyone. Rumble ulti already coming down. The turret is incredibly low, but Seal wandering down and...
Still holding on.
Okay.
Take that. Royal going to be able to back away. Infinity Edge on its way for Pilot. He has a BF sword and a pickaxe. Armut takes a culling to the face, but the lantern! Dark passage to salvation there, as Armut was very much going to die if he didn't get that help from his support.
And okay, a couple of things. First of all, Damonte, Lucian skin, top notch, great job, congratulations. You've done the right thing heading into this one. But as I was kind of saying, like the trading back and forth, League of Legends hurts to watch when one team is just like being proactive, they're forcing fights, the other is in that situation where they want to respond but just can't, and somebody walks away with everything. That's how you get very one-sided games, like one team just steamrolls over the other, but in a game like this where everybody's opting into early game proactivity, skirmishes all over the place, and you have the gold for Infernal trade, can get super sketchy. Seal has
Huni
no
doesn't-
idea.
Huni doesn't have flash, but Vulcan's on his way up. There's this first distortion used. Now here comes Huni with the harpoons. Vulcan coming in from the side. Seal trying to flash away, but there's nowhere for him to go. This LeBlanc is not long for the rift. Huni burns him down, and Clutch get their 4th kill of the game.
And that's exactly what makes Huni a good player. Like those creative uses of vision, just waiting, biding his time, looking for the pick. Tolerant. Can he get in flash range? Flay range, I should say.
Looking for the hook, but Cody summoned the great killer instinct to dodge it. Damonte going in, and Tolerant has already done. Vulcan coming in from the side as well, and he lands the hook on Pilot. Cocoon to follow. Equalizer not even needed, but Huni will take the kill in the end.
And
Clutch
second-
came and come alive.
Mid-lane fight gets cleaned up by Clutch. The turret they invested in earlier. Now going to get taken down. Gold advantage their way again.
And this is where we see Clutch upping that tempo from the early gold lead, getting those first completed items before Royal were able to react. And because of that, they're now able to take towers, get more kills. Oof. And you can see just how strong Clutch are right now.
Yeah, did you see the gold lead in the mid lane? That's approaching the 2k mark. Damonte is absolutely massive. This is the Thresher's worst nightmare. You're going for the hook. Very nicely played from Cody Sun. Gets himself to safety. Tolerant with no flash just dies immediately off the end of the play. And every time Clutch have been proactive, it has been a 5-member resource commit. They're all rotating to the play. Huni comes down the flanks from both sides and get the picks, get the objectives, and get themselves out of there.
And at the 15-minute mark, Clutch have a 3,000 gold lead. Damonte just absolutely shredding through Tolerant. There's nowhere for the Thresh to go. Damonte 3-1-0 on this Lucian, really showing up here in the first game of this best of 5.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was saying. Gets the Cutlass by, no junglers interacting. The fact that Lyra was forcing plays and Closer was kind of reacting in the early game means that he was just left alone with a LeBlanc, and as this lead gets bigger and bigger, he's going to become a problem to deal with. You see Royal Youth sending the LeBlanc to the top side, being thrown to Huni as the next dragon spawns.
And Mountain Dragon here for Clutch. Really nothing Royal can do about this. They had some control over the Drake Pit early on in the game, but now everything is in Clutch's grasp. Royal have been stalling over the last few minutes, and Clutch are the ones to continue to make those proactive plays. And I think that's what we expect to see over the next 5 minutes or so as well. It will be Clutch trying to find the picks. But has Damonte met his match? In goes Armut. Damonte trying to trade in, but look at the damage. Armut just absolutely shreds through him. Damonte able to get away. And Armut unable to chase. Seol here, the equalizer doesn't quite connect. Needed the hook or something first from Vulcan to hold him in place.
Yeah, you hate to see it. Unfortunately, going to go a little bit wide there. Bottom lane was a respectful decision there from Armut. Doesn't go for the flash trade, knowing that dash from Lucian was coming up in a few seconds. He had a flash of his own, so does get a chunk out on the very fed member right now, and pick on the top side was not to be.
Wasn't quite able to work through it, and Clutch just continues to rattle off these items. Manamune finished for Cody Sun. He's building up towards the Ginsu's, the Blade of the Ruin King, and a BF sword for Damonte. Liandry's complete on Huni. He's getting himself up towards that Zhonya's. It's going to be very hard to deal with them for the next few minutes, but parts of their composition do fall off as the game develops. Rumble, always one of those champions that we talk about having a very strong mid-game, but not too strong as the game goes on. And if you look at the side of Royal, I always like a Jinx when you get towards late game team fights.
We have seen in this tournament already just the late game insurance policy coming up Clutch, for lack of a better word. Could come up Royal for this one. But yeah, it is kind of interesting. The one big thing as we are kind of heading towards that 20-minute mark, in the composition of Clutch, it's hard to close the game if the other team doesn't want to fight you, right?
Okay.
Like starting up a Baron with an Elise, Nautilus isn't going to get tanky. They don't have anyone that can just freely like look for the objective. It really is like, can they find the fights they need to blow open this game and then force the end before something like Double Infernal Jinx comes online? I will say, that's a long way away. We're at 18 minutes. Big Purple Worm hasn't even spawned yet, but these are going to be the things in the back of their minds. They're doing a great job at cementing this gold lead and ever so slowly creeping this one up and up, but
that's also the point at which Clutch have to start thinking about vision control as well. They did it so well in their regional gauntlet versus TSM. They found good flanks for Damonte in fights. They found good areas where they could get behind the enemy team without them spotting them. And you can see Huni's done it a couple of times this game already. What I'd like to see is a few more control wards in those inventories, clear out some of this royal vision, especially around the Baron, because you can do it relatively fast, although you will fall quite low. And then really set up to make Royal come to you, have to face check you so you can start these fights.
yeah, and you do have to respect it. Like the way they've been fighting fights already means, as an LCS fan, you look at this game and you do think positive thoughts about the trajectory, right? Yeah. They've been able to force things already. They don't have really anything to play over right now. You can see the deploy is top side of the map. Huni gets flipped, does have TP that is matched by Armut on the other side. So if a fight breaks out towards the top side of the map, both of them can join. But this last remaining outer turret being pressured, everybody rotating up.
I mean, Armut does know he can buy full items from the shop, right? Because at the moment he's got Tiamat, Hex Drinker, Ninjas, a Ruby, a Kindle Gem, and a No Magic Mantle. You can combine some of those into full items.
Yeah. He's just working on it.
Yeah, he's on his way, I guess. But he's had a relatively good performance as of yet. And now Clutch almost 5,000 gold in the lead. You said they're playing up towards the top side. Is a pretty strong area for them. When you have both your AD carries on the top side of the map, both of them almost at 2 items. Seol really can't defend by himself. And closer on this Olaf, unable to get anywhere near the fight. Damonte just keeps him away.
Yeah, it's a very difficult defense there. LeBlanc struggles to defend turrets because she has to play in the wave to be able to wave clear, right? Like, yes, you have a Ludens, you'll get a Q bounce, but really distorting on the backline is what you have, and if Clutch are putting all their resources up there, you expect them to be able to break that one. So now the entire outer ring has been broken pre-Baron. All of the boxes are being checked for a composition like this. You see the 2-item spikes now being hit from Lucian. Kai'Sa just waiting on the transform there. Liandry's completed, and Huni's just kind of done at this point. Like, he's got the magic pen.
Full build.
Yep, TP into a team fight is exactly what he's looking for, and I mentioned it could be difficult to take down the Baron if their setup isn't crisp. setups have been looking pretty crisp so far.
Just want to get some vision control in that Royal jungle. Royal, on the other hand, continue just to try and stall out the game.
Yes.
They just want to get this one towards 3 items on that Jinx, 2.5, 3 items on the LeBlanc as well, and then get Armut in a good position to flank for a team fight. Both is going to face check straight into Lyra here, just chunked out a tad. Olaf, not the tankiest of jungle tanks.
It's one of those situations where you have to hit the oh crap button, and that's kind of the decision or not. Like, do you pop ulti and run away, or are you just fine to chill and then walk away? That was
Or pop the ulti and run in.
yeah, that's the
option,
that's the Chad move.
Second dragon of the game for Clutch here as they take down the Ocean pretty handily. Armut has been playing weak side of the map for a long time, and you can see Clutch have had a lot of vision control just around this area, really making it difficult for Royal to do anything with it. And Royal actually looking for their first tower of the game up to top. Will get themselves just that little bit more gold in their back pockets. But it is, as you said, it's heartening to see if you're an LCS fan, Clutch do this early game as well as they have done. I think there were questions as to the strength of Royal coming out of their group, because when you've got Damwon, Flamengo, and Royal in a group, it's debatable how powerful that group is.
Who's good? How good are they?
Exactly. And so
Not many opponents to compare to.
I think a lot of people came into this series expecting Clutch to be the favorites, but thinking that Royal really could put up a challenge.
And I think the big thing from this game so far in the hands of Clutch is I think it's been a very respectable performance. We've seen in this tournament alone super over-aggression from the likes of Huni, super underwhelming performances from the likes of Lyra. We've seen like very proactive and then very non-proactive playstyles like when they played versus Mammoth. And it's like, where do they land in a best of 5? Interviews with Demonte is like, yeah, we've been experimenting with stuff, but eventually they do have like the fallback pattern to go with what we've been seeing. And up against their opponents this far, I feel like they've really tempered themselves, and this is a very good style of League of Legends that this team is playing right now, and they're not fumbling at really any point.
I think the next step is the one that I really want to see them be effective on, because this is where you can see Royal fighting very hard to maintain control of their own jungle. Clutch not being able to get in there yet, and as we've said, they really need Royal to go for the fight. They really need Royal to face check into them if they're going to be able to get one of these big fights later on, because they don't have too many engage tools. Really, You're looking for a flank maybe on Armut in the bottom lane. You're looking for an equalizer on the back of a team fight to chunk people out. And now Clutch are trying to set up, but Armut being very, very respectful, very safe as he backs away in the lane.
Yeah. And I'll bring it back to what I said earlier, right? This Baron is the big window for Clutch to reasonably be able to explode this game open, and simultaneously is the most difficult point of the game to play here from Royal Youth. They have to just stall out as long as possible, and the one thing that you could see going wrong here for Clutch is the fact that Huni really is their catalyst for action.
Yep.
He makes things happen. Like, Vulcan looks very good on the likes of like a Rakan, and he's second to the play. Huni goes in. On the back end of like an Akali, dives into multiple members, and then there's the follow-up for the rest of the team. And in this sort of situation, you've seen what Clutch just did. Set up the Baron, get their vision, float all their resources to Huni, then just walk him back to the Baron pit. So for a team like this trying to execute around the Baron buff right now, they're just trying to bring Huni to the play.
And you can see why that's so important for them. Huni has the most damage of the most damage share of his entire team at 33%. Demonte's last at 18%.
Yeah.
So you have to be playing around Huni really to get your team ahead if you're Clutch. And he's such a key catalyst for the team, which is why we bring it up so often. First tower of the game over to Royal. They are 5,000 gold behind as the game ticks on piece by piece. And Clutch Gaming will be wanting to look for a catalyst for their play. They want to look for a trigger that they can pull, because right now Royal are very happy just waiting out the game in this lull state.
Yeah, and a couple of big buys did just come through. Huni gets himself a Void Staff. I actually didn't see how he purchased that, but I think that may have just been a straight-up completed item. That one's done. You see a BF sword in the hands of Lucian. Kai'Sa hits the transform as well, so everything coming online, and the map state is good. Huni already getting the push, rotating over.
The difficulty is you have wards like this just sitting at the top of the pit, and it makes it very difficult for Clutch to start anything without Royal realizing it's going on. Demonte might face check into 2 people in the top side. Seal could jump in. Royal deciding they don't want a piece of that action right now and backing away, and now Clutch are getting that deep vision we keep talking about.
Oh, do they go for the pick onto the 2 up here? Vulcan is in. Can he get the LeBlanc? Ah, gets the wall. That was the worst target. We didn't want that one.
Well, I mean, yes. I was trying to think of a funny joke, but I got nothing. Got nothing, I'll admit. Pilot caught out just a little bit here. Tolan doesn't have the lantern, brings it up just in time. The hook doesn't connect, but Huni burns his flash, burns the equalizer, gets both summoners out of Pilot. Armut on the wrong side of this one as he's going to have to back away. Does still have the charge if he needs it, but Huni shouldn't be able to chase him down too easily. And Royal able to hold off the clutch advances for the moment.
Yes, for the moment, that is the key thing. No kills. Oh, lots of damage on both sides now, but a bunch of vision control on the top side of the map. Clutch just laying claim to that quadrant of their jungle, and next dragon will be spawning in just about 30 seconds. We've been talking a lot about Baron, but nobody's found themselves a fight, found themselves an ability to start that one up, and a couple of Ocean Dragons just have been the prize here for Clutch.
And they're going to get their second, which is always a bonus. You know, double Ocean can give you a lot. Early on, we talked about the double Infernos for Royal. That's only going to get better as the game goes on. So it's that balancing act of what you trade for what you take. Clutch trying to set up around the Ocean here, but it looks like for the moment, actually, Royal will have control. Remember, no Equalizer, no flash on Huni. Cocoon's going to land on closer, doesn't pop the Ragnarok. And Clutch will try and regain just that little bit of vision. Now, they can path up towards the Baron.
That could have been a big opportunity, but Huni lacking the cooldown on the Equalizer. You can see pings almost immediately. The wards we pointed out earlier have died, so complete vision supremacy here around the Baron pit. And Royal very tentatively contesting this one.
Closer does have the flash, can go
Rocket.
Super Mega Death Rocket, doesn't connect. Vulcan on the chase, the Cocoon hits, and that is the Thresh down. Tournament falls, Armut caught out. The depth chart's gonna land, but Seal across the wall could look for jumping in. Armut dismounts, Closer lands an undertow. Cody Sun jumps onto the back line, assassinates Armut, and now is looking for the chase onto Seal. He flashes forward, Seal has to flash away. Clutch find two and turn their eyes back towards the big purple worm.
Find exactly the fight they're looking for. Top and support gonna die off the back end of this one. Pink Ward's still in the pit. Very difficult to be able to get into this one, and Olaf, without a flash, is, even if it was in the area, not going to be anything to play with right now. So Clutch now with Baron, couple of Dragons, a huge gold lead cementing themselves in the first game of this best of 5.
And this is what you wanted to see from Clutch. Patient, methodical play.
Yes.
They waited for the misplay from Royal. They waited till they could force the Baron, and then they caught their man.
And Baron does exactly what you want for this composition. They force them into the chokes, the Equalizer, the hook so easy to land on multiple members, and even with Kai'Sa, Cody Sun just flies into the backlines, but Closer and Seal just have to run away. There's no contest here, no way they can turn around and dish back any sort of damage, and that's it, just good stuff.
A-OK play there.
A-OK.
That's what Clutch will want to do. Methodical, you can see, really, Royal weren't involved in that fight. All they were doing was running away. They were split across two portions of the map.
And the big thing I want to highlight with these damage charts, think about Kled, Olaf, LeBlanc. 3 champions that if they're going forwards, do lots of damage. When they're going backwards, running away, do negative damage.
Not
you're sitting at a 250 mark is not where you want to be. Oh, okay.
That's a great Cocoon. Still lands as Seal tries to disengage. He's going to jump away even though the Lantern was there. It's a support nightmare. Dardoch says it's Tanner time, therefore I must awake and celebrate. It's been pretty Tanner time this game. Damonte's had an exceptional performance on the Lucian. Now has his Infinity Edge complete, and Clutch pushing in 2 lanes with that 2-1 split, and Vulcan and Lyra just roaming through the jungle, finding catches where they can. This will be the outer, the tier 2 turrets in mid and bottom falling.
This is exactly what you want to see. Dragon is up, but not really a priority at this point. Culling will force the Kled to run into Narnia's topside. That's going to be an Equalizer, though, just to force them off the turret.
Pilot forced away. Damonte in the mid lane, chipping away at that tower as well. Bottom lane Inhib will fall. Inhib tower
Flash.
will fall. Tolerant flashes forward. Huni goes gold, and Tolerant will pop his stopwatch as well. And here comes the charge from the side. Last chance saloon. You have to feel for Royal. Can the Jinx stay alive? Seal, only man left alive on the back line here for Royal. He's chased out by Cody Sun. Armut running for the wins as well. Clutch have destroyed Royal in this first game, dismantled and demolished them. It's looked perfect from Clutch. They have just absolutely dominated the map, and they will go 1-0 up in this series. They're playing with their food just a tad as Armut forced back to the fountain. But Tanner time is well and truly here in Europe as he falls to the fountain. In the end, the Nexus goes down and Clutch go 1-0 up.
He's got to do it to you. Immediately ripped back into the Nexus. Huni, the cold killer right there on his signature rumble, has been banned away so many times throughout this tournament already. And for a team coming in with Doubt's best of 5 format, that was a very, very clean performance. Interesting number 1 with the Pantheon, the Syndra. Do they round it out with a cheeky Rakan? Or do they take Elise off the table?
It could be a not cheeky Rakan. Could just be a bashful Rakan.
Is that the opposite of cheeky?
I don't know.
Bashful?
Olaf has been banned, so Clutch have switched things up just a tad. Gonna get away from that topic of conversation. Irelia
Yeah,
is
okay.
now open because of that. We'll see what Royal Youth decide to ban for their final pick, whether it is that Rakan that we have discussed at length
This
so
is
far.
such a whack start to the Champs League. It just went right in, and then you just went off a cliff.
It's the cheeky Rakan.
There it is. God, we hate
Bring it
bashful
back.
Rakans
Bring
up
it back.
in here.
What are we going to look for first pick? Irelia has now been left open.
Yes. One of Hooney's most played champions. Do they lock that one in? They could just run it back with the Elise Lyra. And an amicable performance on that pick in game number 1. But okay, there it is. It was
First
last
pick in
picked.
Rumble.
This time it's first picked.
Grab it for Hooney. He's played it 11 times. Has won a bunch of those. I think it's 8 out of 11. I can't do the maths. I've got a percentage in front of me. So I think it's 8 out of 11 across the course of the split. And now Royal Youth have to decide, how do you answer that? Do you take away the Elise? Do you pick your top laner now and try and go for something aggressive? Apparently, the Renekton is the pick alongside the Elise.
Yes, and that was going to be my question. Is this Rumble actually a flex pick that we just haven't seen DeMonte play on the competitive stage? Because then it's like, okay, we're happy to blind pick it. If it does get Elise Renekton, then we have options. We can throw it into the mid lane. You could, I don't know, Cody Sun, throw it into the bottom lane if you really wanted to. But yeah, it is going to be the option. Very aggressive start to this one, and I like what Royal Youth have done. You need to attack Hooney if you do want to attack Clutch, and this is exactly where you want to start.
I think the risk is, no matter where the Rumble goes, the Renekton and the Elise can follow.
Truth?
They can chase them down. Kai'Sa once again picked up for Cody Sun. Lyra gets his second most played champion in the Jarvan. Still not going for that. Skarner has put that by the wayside for the play-ins, it seems.
Definitely in a matchup like this, needs some ability to do things in the early game. Skarner wants to hit that level 6 mark, and Thresh going to be the run back here for Tolerant. Has had some good performances so far in the group stage. I also like Thresh in terms of when you pair him with like a Lucian, you're like, yeah, like we can go early, but when you pair it with something like the Jinx, honestly, like Lantern, cannot be understated as like a late game team fight tool.
Yep.
Jinx incredibly immobile. We didn't see team fights actually erupt in game number 1, but if Pilot gets caught out, then you can reposition him if the synergy is there. Pilot has been a big player for them so far as we head on into the ban phase.
Oh, that's the Nautilus band. Ashe gets removed as well by Clutch. Looking at Vulcan's champion pool, you're now going down to things like Tahm Kench, maybe the Lux, maybe the Leona, with the Nautilus and Rakan taken away. And we'll see with now Alistar, that's a lot of aggression removed from the Clutch Gaming bottom lane, a lot of disengage taken away from them as well. I think Royal Youth will want to be aggressive down bot.
Yeah, the big question is, are they willing to go ranged matchups? Like, there is still, yes, the Tahm, the Braum, if you want to go like that, but Morgana is an option, long-time counterpick to something like the Thresh, and for a team composition like Renekton, Elise, Thresh, and whatever AD carry you lock in, that's a bunch of single target damage that a singular Black Shield could come up as a huge prize here, so will be kind of interesting to see where Clutch went around at this comp out. Oh. He's hovered it too many times. Just lock it in.
I think it's Ezreal. I don't think he's going to pick the Draven.
I don't think you pick Renekton, Elise, and then round out your composition with a we have to fight bottom side.
I mean, I think you could if you really wanted to.
You could.
Doesn't usually work out for them. Ezreal is the lock here for Pilot. 5th time he's played this split. And Clutch now have to look towards probably mid and their support. Now, Poppy is a support that's been on the edge of interest, and I'm going to stop talking about hovers because they're doing too many of them. But Pyke will be the lock here, and the Nico. Both locked in straight away, so still don't know where that Rumble is going.
Yes.
Nico could be top, could be mid.
A couple of things. Now, the solo laners can be flexible, so until Royal Youth select their lanes and Clutch decide where to throw who, everything will be up in the air. But Pyke also, very aggressive counter pick into the Thresh. The hook animation can be super useful. Thresh is very easy to pick on, right? Lantern saves your ally, especially something like the Ezreal, but Pyke can make things happen. And okay, Irelia gets all the way through.
Yeah, that's a lot of physical damage on the side of Royal Youth. Having the Elise and the Ezreal there to balance it out does help. A lot of magic damage on the side of Clutch.
And it's kind of the weird thing going into League of Legends in 2019 where tanks are just kind of dead. Yes, we've seen some Ornn, we've seen like the remnants of maybe a Sion, but in terms of indexing super heavily into like one damage type, in 2019 you don't get punished that much, right?
Yep.
Like if tank stats aren't on the other side, You don't have a lot of HP bars to go through, so it's not the worst thing in the world, but we do get ourselves locked in lane matchups.
Yeah, it's going to be Rumble in the top lane into Armut Renekton. Aurelia will go mid against Damonte on the Neeko. Damonte has played that twice this split, I believe. Actually matching Huni in games played on the Neeko. It's the first time we've seen Vulcan on Pyke, though. Usually a little bit more safe in that bottom lane. Things like the Rakan, Norseless, Tahm Kench, the aggressive bot laners, support's not really his cup of tea.
Pyke's also just a baller champion.
Yeah,
He's sick.
he is sick.
For lack of a better, he's actually just sick.
So the problem with me, with Pyke, is that I used to think I was really good on him, and then I started playing him more.
Nobody that says they're a
Other
good
people
Pyke is a good Pyke.
So I was quite good, and then other people started playing him a lot, and they got really good on him, and so now I'm just average.
Yeah,
I get
okay.
flamed a lot. But I'm sure Vulcan has practiced a lot more than I have, and is a
I
lot
agree.
better at Pyke than I am. Game 2 of the best of 5 is on its way. Clutch, 1-0 up on their way to groups, perhaps Royal Youth trying to stand in their way. The Turkish representatives need to fight back if they are going to stand a chance in this series.
And you have to respect it. The run back, Elise, Renekton, Aurelia. TCL representatives just going hard on the top side of the map. Ezreal locked in for Pilot, long-time Ezreal player from all the way in the LCK. Won't be getting a lot of attention in the early game, and it didn't work out in game number 1, but they're willing to just try again.
Well, you can just go up towards the top.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yep, that's where everyone's going to be looking early on in this game. We'll see how Vulcan and Cody Sun can do. They tend to be pretty good without any jungle pressure. Damonte the same. Huni really the key focus for Clutch in most of their victories.
Yeah.
Armut the same for Royal.
And let's speak about Neeko for a little bit, because
Okay.
she came out, super wild champion all over the place now, has kind of cemented herself into this Glacial Augment, into like the Spooky Ghost, the active items, and you get
Super
to use...
Soaker Spooky Ghost.
Yes, you get to actually use your rune choice there, but has emerged as like a very useful disengage option. Because when you think about those champions, like they don't have strong lanes, but Neeko, especially in something like this range versus melee matchup, Damonte super early without jungle attention will be able to have access to some super useful early game tools, and then once you hit that level 6 mark, you're very hard to dive in terms of look what Royal Youth are looking at, like an Elise, Renekton, Aurelia diving into the backline of a team fight. You have the Cataclysm, the Equalizer, Neeko ult, everything you have to deal with can be super troublesome. See how that one tracks out for the rest of this game.
And early on, Lyra's going perhaps for level 2 gank. He's cleared away his own red. It's going to get spotted on a ward as he put parts in towards Royal's red buff. And this could be a little bit dangerous him now. Huni is pushed up.
Does Closer go for the complete wraparound? No, he's going to walk straight forwards. Blue buff versus the red buff of Lyra.
No smite on Closer. Lyra has smite. Huni's already level 2, has got armor to push up in that top lane. Should be pretty easy for Lyra to secure this.
And it's just happened again. Both solo lanes pushing into his direction. Damonte walks over. Gets a ward down, and Huni doing exactly the same thing. So Lyra has brought all his friends closer. Just alone in the jungle. Almost going to get forced off his golems. They reset. Oh.
That's so tough for Closer. This
That
ward here,
sucks.
spotting him out as well as he comes back round towards it. Armor not really healthy enough to help out. And something has to change for Royal early on, because at the moment the top side of the map is not in their control at all.
And it's not even with Lyra around. Stole the red buff, went back towards his blue, clearing his own jungle as that one resets off the back end of Huni alone. So 1 versus 2 pressure on the top side buys Lyra an extra little bit of time in the early game. Huni just punishing up here.
Very difficult for Armut to do anything in the lane. Has the door and shield, will try and sustain himself back up, but you need to be close to the minions if you're going to get that Cold and Meek healing off, and Rumble, of course, can just pop the Flame Spitter whenever you are nearby. Top side clear for Closer, mostly done, as he has finished up his Krugs, but Lyra now with control of this top side Scuttle Crab can just go straight down towards bot as well and look to take them both off the map.
And that's the big problem. You see Cody Sun and Vulcan walking up the river. Do they want to spend enough time to like use Pyke Q on the crab, take that one down themselves? No, just going to be a ward dropped and a blasting or a scrying plant rather whacked into the enemy jungle. They're looking for the Elise. They don't spot him on either side of the map.
The question is for Closer whether he goes and tries to fight this. Lyra's still very dominant. In fact, Closer's just going to go down towards bot. Knows that that Scuttle Crab is likely still up, but Damonte on his way across will try and keep Closer from getting near enough to the Scuttle Crab. Should be an okay secure for the Elise. And Royal are able to find something out of this early jungle pathing. They have been set back. There's a CS lead in the bottom lane as well as Armut goes low in the top. It's about 6 to 7 farm ahead for Cody Sun down there in that pure 2v2 matchup.
Yeah, so the problem right now for Armut on the top side is the Closer stepping on vision. He knows exactly where the Elise is, almost double CS. Now is exactly double CS up there. Continuing to punish the Renekton. As Closer looking towards the bottom side, so won't be in a position to help. And now with that prio, he's going to walk into the enemy jungle. Just going to be a reset. Does have a trinket available, but not opting to use it. Oh, okay. Just efficiency. Places it over the wall as the recall comes through.
Yeah, got to get it in. And I do want to come back to this discussion about early game leads and which top laner can get ahead and which jungler can get ahead, because both these teams are actually very similar in their playstyle. They like to get first blood, they like to get the Herald, and then they like to try and get ahead through that. Now, Royal's goal difference in planes, of course, has been affected by the fact they played Damwon Gaming twice and got forced quite far behind. But both of these teams are very similar, and I think that's why we saw in Game 1, Clutch, after they got the early lead, after they got that advantage, Royal really didn't have a way to get back into the match.
Yeah, because they traded objectives fine, they got themselves double Infernal Dragon, but in terms of being able to find opportunities back in, team fights just straight up did not happen. Does Damonte get baited in here? No mana. Oh.
Good flash. Good flash from Damonte to get away from that cocoon. Lyra is around as well. Vulcan has made his level 4 way mid, something we see a lot in the LEC. The support roaming mid to try and catch someone out around that level 4 mark. Wave is pushing up in the bot lane, so it's not too dangerous for Cody Sun as he can just crash that one into Pilot. Now Lyra on his way top. Armut has been struggling in this lane, has finally made his way back, even in terms of CS, but now just hitting level 6. I don't think Lyra will want to go for the fight. He's still only level 4 on this Jarvan, as is Closer on the Elise.
But even in these sort of situations where nothing eventuates, Clutch have done such a good job of tracking the Elise in this early game, knowing exactly where Closer is and kind of dictating where he can actually go. He hasn't had a lot of options there, so Wave pushing in as Huni dings that level 6 mark. It's just incredibly happy to sit here chilling on the top side of the map as Lyra is kind of shepherding for a counter gank, I believe. They know Elise is up there. You just saw a missing ping up on the top side of the map over in this bush. Are they thinking that Closer may be looking for it?
You can use the question mark pings. We have them. Look at that.
Oh, true.
Yeah, see, missing thing.
There was lots of them.
I'm glad you could truly portray the missing things that we saw on the minimap. Lyra here going to come in and help push its way in towards Armut. And that's about a 15 to 20 CS lead for Huni in most regards. And I want to just talk a little bit about how compositions are expected to work as this game goes on. When I look at Clutch, I see a lot of AoE in team fights, the Equalizer, the Pot Blossom coming out as well, the Cataclysm there. Feels very much a comp designed to play around objectives and force the enemy team into fights.
Yes.
Royal, on the other hand, have a bit more skirmish potential, a bit more back and forth in these fights.
That is certainly true, and given what's happening so far, it looks pretty difficult for Royal Youth to play this out. Super dive-heavy composition with melee laners like the Aurelia and Renekton into everything I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Jarvan, Nico, Rumble, Ulti are difficult tools to have to play around, and because Clutch already have a stranglehold on this top side of the map, Closer is still like fishing for a red buff. He hasn't had one this game, but 3 versus 3 could be happening as the flank's on.
Damonte dodged out with the flawless duet.
Okay.
Vanguard's Edge coming in. They're going to go all in for the Nico. Stun locked up. Pot Blossom comes down with first blood already to Royal. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, the fight continues. Ignite going down. Cody Sun flashes forward. Huni gets closer up towards the top side of Seal. Is going to get chased out here by Lyra. Armut flashed away. Huni flashing forward. Armut looking to get that final auto win, but Huni keeps him at arm's length, keeps him at bay, and Huni runs away. The knockup comes in from Lyra, and it's a double for Clutch. 4 kills to 1.
And on both sides of the map, they win the top skirmish. They win the 2 versus 2 in the bottom lane. A miracle Ezreal ulti will find nothing. And just as I say, it's going to be a difficult game for Royal to play out. It just gets that little bit worse.
So hard for them now. 1,600 gold behind. Huni escaping just by a hair in that top fight. And now you've got 2 kills on your Jarvan, who can just get up towards tankier stats. You've got a kill and 2 assists on Huni. His Equalizer already halfway off its cooldown. And it's only a Cloud Drake to fight off around the bottom side. Now, 8.5 minutes in the game. Cody Sun and Vulcan have just reset, but they're going down towards the bottom lane here. Deciding not yet to go up towards where the Rift Herald will be spawning.
9-minute flip? Doable?
Yeah.
8-minute flip? Nah, that's too early.
8.5 minute flip.
Yeah, we're not about that life over here.
You're not an 8-minute flipper?
9 minutes only.
It sounds like we're talking about how to cook burgers properly.
8 minutes sounds like a very burnt burger.
It does, but you Australians do things in...
Is that how they do it in England? They just burn them.
English food is not something to be proud of, let's be honest.
Sure.
You're a 9-minute flipper, though, so you're even later than I am.
We didn't talk about that, that's fine.
Okay. Let's talk about how Clutch is setting up around this Cloud Dragon then, because they are getting some vision control. 3 control wards in the triangle there you can see. And Royal actually anticipating a top side of the map play are going up to see if they can catch out Huni. No flash on him. There's the Equalizer to clear out the way, but Closer on his way. Doesn't have the flash. Caught out by the minion wave. Smite comes down. Cocoon doesn't land. Huni's just going to be able to get away for the moment, but the Ruthless Predator comes in, and there's the Cocoon. Wasn't used earlier on. Huni trying to get away with the Scrap Shield, but the chase is on, and Closer will sink in the Fangs.
Smart decision, very well executed from Royal You's side. Does look pretty easy. Huni flashless underneath his turret, but they wait for the Renekton W to hit confirm the Cocoon, but on the other side of the map, here comes the dive. Cody Sun just left to free hit this turret. Very respectful from Pilot and Tolerant as they just trying to eat the wave with their ulti.
Teleport used mid here by Huni. Gonna keep Seal from pushing in that wave too far. Demonte's here to join his team. Rift Herald has been started by Royal.
Yeah.
Towards the top side of this, and Clutch are like, oh wait, excuse me, it's 10 minutes.
Okay.
The Rift Herald, Seal stunned up, great flawless duet, but here comes the Pop Blossom, and Seal's unable to dodge away from it. 10 minutes in, Clutch secure a kill in the mid lane, and Royal gonna have to run for the hills. Can't quite get the eye, could have looked to secure it. The rest of Royal are on their way up, but this is just going to reset for Clutch, and they are very happy to secure this.
I
In
saw
goes Armor, the eye is open, but the Cataclysm comes down. Closer has to jump away, repel out, Demonte gets the kill still. Armor now in the back of the pit, trying to get to the Lantern in time, will just about survive, but the Rift Herald goes across towards Clutch.
And I think for the first time in the tournament, Clutch aren't the team just started up, but boy, do they just walk away with the buff. Maybe they just dropped that immediately in a lane. It was picked up by Demonte, so... As a lot of use cases, TP will ship it down towards the bottom side of the map for Armor to try and hold on to this turret. But that was just a disaster for Royal Youth. Multiple skirmishes back to back. They lose mid and lose the Rift Herald.
It's so good for Clutch, though. They're now 3,000 gold ahead. They have a Rift Herald. They got the Cloud Drake that they thought they were trading for the Rift Herald.
Yeah.
They're in such a strong spot, and this Clutch early pressure into a mid-game spike is showing up once again.
And it's an ambitious call to fight this one. Pilot and Tolerant are just in nowhere. Over the wall, Lantern is kind of the play here from Closer, but Demonte cleans it up off the back end. Renekton eventually finds his way to it, but that was a dragon into walking mid, a mid kill, into walking to Rift Herald, and the enemy team leashed it to 2,000 HP. That was a goodie bag. They just went to a 8-year-old's birthday party and just walked away with everything.
It's like a connect the dots game. It's like, oh, we have a dot at the Dragon, and there's a dot at the mid lane, and a dot towards the Rift Herald. Clutch doing exactly what they need to, exactly what we've come to expect from them with this 10-minute Rift Herald play. And now they can just look to see where they want to use it. It's currently sitting on Demonte, which probably isn't the target you really want it on, but you still take that. You've taken 4 plates in the bottom lane. You've yet to break through those mid lane plates. Top lane, you can't quite see. We'll wait as the map goes
I think he's on
up
5.
towards it. You think it's on 5?
Yeah, I think he's on 5.
Well, we don't get to see. It is on 5. There we are, but they do have the Rift Herald now.
Ambitious TP here from Pilot. Has friends coming, but Clutch early once again.
Rift Herald used. Only a couple of minions there left for it, but the Herald will charge in, and that's going to be at least 4 plates taken from this top lane tower, you have to think. Pilot takes a little bit of splash damage, and Clutch just wait for the next wave to push in. Huni is in the mid lane against Armut, but it's going to be very difficult for the Renekton to deal now with that Rumble.
Okay, now the real question is, does Closer get a red buff this game? This is going to be the 3rd one taken away in a row.
You've got to take the wins where you can.
A collective effort from everyone on Clutch is going to steal away this one as he just recalls on the top side. Hook. Oh. Predicted, but not going to be the play. And now Clutch also, they push top, bash Rift Herald, find early access to mid lane. They're just running them all over the map.
Yeah, just pulling Royal all the way around Summoner's Rift. And for the moment, Royal really just have to wait. You have to scale. You've yet to get a single completed item on your mid laner or your top laner. It's gone for the Spectre's Cowl this game to try and have that little bit of magic resist. But you look across the other side, Cody Sun's already got a Manamune stacking up. You've got 2-1-2 on your Nico. Demonte in the mid lane sitting on a bunch of gold. Actually, almost got 1,000 in the bank, is 1,000 ahead of his lane opponent. And across the board, it's just bleeds all over the map for Clutch.
Yeah, it looks to be just a similar performance of game number 1. The same strategy we've seen Closer pop off in the group stage, but as soon as it came to the best of 5, preparation coming in through here from the NA representative and just attacking the jungle. 30 CS discrepancy, 0 red buff. 0 hopes this game.
I mean, if Clutch play it like game one, this game's all
Elise.
but done. Like, Clutch should just close this one out, assuming they are patient and methodical like they were in the first game of the series. And if you're Royal, you're wondering, you know, what do we change? How do we switch things up? Because this current strategy is not working for them at all.
And that's the thing with the run back.
Yeah.
First game, you employ that strategy, it's like, oh, okay, that didn't work. But you're confident in it. It's your preparation. It's what you've been practicing, scrimming behind the scenes. And then you do it game number 2 and you're getting smacked and it's like, oh God, okay. Well,
This is the thing that usually works, bro.
yeah. And unfortunately, of course, game is not over, but situation is absolutely dire here.
A 5,000 gold lead for Clutch at the 15-minute mark. A second dragon for them as well if they want it. They've yet to take all of the outer towers, but they
Yeah.
are on their way to doing it. That bottom tower, only a fifth of its HP remains. And second cloud, not the most impactful, but still a bonus to have, especially when you get towards team fights.
That's the thing with NA players. Bad Dragon RNG. Turkish players, super good.
Yeah, really
Double
good.
Infernal.
Double Infernal last time.
Double air. That's a bad time.
But Clutch are now super speedy as well.
Okay.
Rooney,
2v2.
Yeah, going to fight in the bottom lane. Teleport coming out. The Dominus already popped here by Armut. Lyra's going to get the knock up and really no more chase coming out from Royal. Cody Sun's on his way down. If Clutch want to turn this one around, the Equalizer is available for Huni, but they realize that Royal are too close to their tower and don't fight any further.
That's just the Skadad.
Skadad.
The Skadad. Flash away from Huni. Skedaddles up the river. No need to commit to this one, but the flash, okay.
Flash in, the Cocoon's going to chase Huni down, and Huni will fall. Second time of the game. He gets the Equalizer down in
Yeah.
time to clear the wave. Never give up on farming, folks. Always important.
That was not the Skadad.
That was the Skadad.
That was the Skadad. Yeah, I like that. I like that. At least Spider's going to mean that they can actually stick around on this turret if they want to, but Royal Youth getting collapsed on by the bottom lane of Clutch, and Lyra just running it up the lane here means that they get a kill, but not much left off the back end.
A few picks like that will give Royal hope, though.
Yes.
Because we have seen, you know, Huni does overextend. He has a propensity for being too far forward in the lane. Lyra has had a few bad games this tournament, especially when he hasn't been on the Elise. So if you can find a couple of catches like that, even if you're falling just that little bit further behind in gold globally, getting some gold on your key carries could help
Yep.
you turn this game around.
Yeah, that's the hope. Pilot on the Ezreal. Pilot and Seal for this roster, once they get to late game team fights, are kind of the 1-2 punch that they need. Synergized double imports for this team and do work very well together. This was just some very nice preparation. Think about the fact that Elise was sitting on this pink ward before. Huni kind of gets baited into that one, wants to take it down, and it's just CC all over the place. How he found the time to drop his R, I have no idea, but the man, the
especially
myth,
with that
the
tenacity.
Huni does it.
No tenacity on him either, so...
Just sneaks it through.
Armut is in a bush here in the top lane. Vulcan on his way. Ward comes down. Armut gonna get stunned up here as he tries to slice and dice away. Closer's on his way in. Has the flash. Could go for Huni here.
Ooh.
Flash Cocoon, but the TP comes in straight away. Closer looking for the kill. Won't quite get it through the Scap shield. Closer eventually takes him down, and now the fight continues. Pop Blossom, pop by Demonte, and pop goes the Spider. Squashed under Demonte's feet, and now Armut is short to follow, but Vulcan getting chased down.
Dead.
Predator is enough, and the turn has come. Royal finding the picks in the top lane as Cody Sun isn't here yet. Demonte goes Gordon to the second. Lyra stunned up. The hook's gonna land. Cody Sun jumps in. Killer instinct from the AD carry. Cody Sun finds his mark and finds the kill.
And it ends up being the 4 versus 5. You can see in the picture in your bottom left screen, Seal just whacking a turret down. Their numbers do not favor Royal Youth in this instance. And yes, they get Huni, yes, they get Vulcan, but get wiped off the back end of the Rift.
Cody Sun just there in time, because at the start it looked in favor of Clutch and Royal turned it around, but as you say, the man advantage definitely coming in big there for Clutch. I was going to say Clutch. It's so hard to avoid that. So hard. Cody Sun's actually had a really good play-in so far, in my opinion, as well. Especially when you look at the last time he played at Worlds was with Immortals against Fnatic, and he made a play that he's named after him, but it was one of the worst plays I've ever seen in my life. Just started to
Jesus.
jump forward.
He's
not
winning the
passing it
game.
to his team. But I'm praising him now.
Yeah,
The
okay.
last time he played at Worlds, he really struggled. But now you see the development, you see the growth in this guy, you see why he is one of the consistent performers for this team.
And I think the big thing is that he's actually exactly what this team needs. The bottom lane doesn't have to be flashy. oh no, you don't like that at all.
Oh, he got it before 20 minutes, so
Yeah, okay. That's
Take that.
Is that a prize?
we take those.
That's a bad prize. But I was saying, right, like the bottom lane doesn't have to be flashy for Clutch. Top side of the map is where they get most of their action. Lyra likes to play around Huni. Demonte is super creative mid laner on his champions, right? Known for the Kiana, the Renekton's, and the like. Of course, is on Nico this time, but teamfight monsters are Vulcan and Cody Sun when they can get to it, and hasn't been allowed to shine in this series, right? It hasn't come to teamfight phase. This is another game with about a 4-5-ish K gold lead, and Clutch approaching that 20-minute mark, just sitting pretty.
It definitely gives you that late game insurance that we've been talking about just a couple of times. Now, Demonte is up here, closer. We'll spot him out. Oh, that's a lot of damage. Closer may just kill him. Pop Blossom coming out, but the shield isn't there in time. Closer shuts down Demonte in a side lane, and Royal are starting to find some of these picks. Now, teleport used in the mid lane by Pilot to try and keep this tower alive. Armored on his way across. Hooney's down towards the bottom side of this with the True Shot Barrage. Chunks out Vulcan. He has to go away. Here comes Armored from the bottom side. They're not going to be able to find the connection, but Royal are still fighting back here. They've closed that gold gap. Only 4,000 now between these two teams.
Yeah, unfortunately, Royal Tolerant hit us with a yellow star there. Flash Flay into hook goes nowhere. They were looking for the fight. They had all of the members rotating over, but Clutch find their way out of that one.
Look at that difference between the AD carries.
That's a biggie.
That's
a biggie.
2,400 gold, I think it was, between the two of them. That's incredible. You look at it, that's only an extra...
That's a Muramana.
That's a few plates, but as you say, it's an entire Muramana. And that means that Ginsu's is finished. Very expensive item. Muramana all stacked up now for Cody Sun. Only the Iceborne and the Manamune stacking up for Pilot. So in terms of pure gold value, Cody Sun much more precious to his team. Third Cloud Drake picked up for Clutch as well. They are incredibly fast now when they want to be.
Yeah, also think about what happened last game. As soon as they hit their item spikes, Clutch just coming online. They get themselves the Baron. Of course, it is 20 minutes on the clock. You see the transform. Hooney's got his one item. You see the Gargoyle there that I absolutely whiffed on the circle.
I like the way that you've almost made a Venn diagram of Leandries and Gargoyle, Seeker's Arm Guard.
Yeah, that's a little bit of amp tone over here.
Tiny bit.
Yeah, but they're getting to their item spikes and approaching that 20-minute mark. Baron has spawned. Triple Air Drake kind of sucks in this situation, but if you're going to have one, you might as well have three. And this is looking like a fairly similar trajectory as we did see in that last game.
We did. I think Royal have had a few more opportunities, a few more moments of fighting back in this game where they found those picks, but what you would like to see Clutch do is control that vision a bit more, because every time they've been caught out, it's been because Closer's found his way around some wards, found his way around some vision. And Clutch have consistently been good at keeping the enemy in the dark.
And that's really the thing, right? Like, a lot of this game is coming off the back end of Closer, someone who's been attacked the entire time, but it's not a Kled ulti, it's an Elise finding avenues into the fight. Pilot.
Vulcan's going to land a hook here, but Closer caught out with the Cataclysm, immediately goes up into the repel. CG are going to react very quickly to this one already. They've taken down the jungler. Clutch Gaming finding their markers. Closer came in for the flank, and Royal unable to react in time.
Topside control, still the name of the game. Seal did not see them walk around here. If he goes back towards topside, could be a disaster, but
Clutch
in the Baron pit. Not right now. They're pushing in their wave, so they certainly could in just a moment, but have gold, have resets to go through, items to buy, Morellos to complete.
Pilot just checks it with the True Shot Barrage. So they know it's not happening, but it's only 22 minutes in the game. Clutch, on average, I think, take their first Baron about the 26-minute mark or so, if I remember correctly from my notes. So they've got a little bit of time before they need to take it.
And we'll see how this one starts off. The ward is really the MVP. Demonte has the flank, but Vulcan off screen right actually lands a hook, but everybody commits onto the Elise. Flashless, nowhere to go. Hooney may have found Armored on the bottom side, though. Vulcan in the area.
Armored's going to try and trade back onto this one, trying to build up those Frosty stacks, but just not there in time. Vulcan gets the kill, not with the ult, which is a little bit of a shame for him, but eventually Armored does go down.
Doesn't get to split the gold with everyone, but Clutch have just had more friends this game. In every single play, everybody rotating over. They do have, of course, like vision control makes it a little bit easier to rotate towards the side lanes. They have that mid priority. This is another ambitious pick coming over. EQ used.
Closer not able to land the cocoon there. Blue buff will go across to Demonte. He takes that 5-2-2 now. It's gone for the GLP, but not the Twin Shadow, so there's no Super Soaker spooky ghosts, just going for the Zhonyas.
Yeah. Also doesn't finish his Morellos, sitting on the Oblivion Orb.
There's not really too much healing on the side of Royal, so you don't really need to go for it. Just
got a Cutlass. That's sick.
Is it?
Yeah.
Why is that sick?
It's healing.
That is. That's true.
That's sick.
That's true.
This cheeky ward, 2 games in a row, hasn't been cleared out.
You're not the best at highlighting. Yeah, here we go. Here we go.
Camera's moving. I've got to keep moving the circle.
You have
It
to
keep
predict. You have to predict
Yeah.
where the camera's going.
Oh, God. It's intentional. It has to be
They
intentional.
might be trolling you a tad.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say they definitely are, but our observers have been known to do that. Equalizer used in the mid lane as Clutch look for this fight. Tolerant caught out, hook back, he's done. Clutch Gaming, they do this. They did this last game. They've done it again here. They find the pick. Now they'll move in, get vision control, and then can look towards that Baron. But as you say, that cheeky ward might stop them in their tracks or might allow Royal to go for the fight. Closer, caught out. Repels up, Seal on his way in, but the TP's already used, and Closer's going to have to flash away. Look at the damage coming out from Clutch. They find the CC chain that they needed, and that should be all she wrote for the Baron.
And exactly what happened last game. Same area, they find 2 picks immediately onto the Baron. The ward doesn't really matter if the jungler is dead. TP can be here from Armut on the Renekton if the contest is going to be here.
Yeah, TP's coming in. This is a little bit late, in my opinion. Demonte gonna act as a bouncer. Here comes Armut onto the backline. Has the dominance, can go in. Demonte down to half HP already. Vulcan trying to do what he can. Hot Blossom comes out. Baron goes down, and that's already Demonte falling, and here comes the rest of the fight. Seal jumping in, takes one, looking for more. He has to get out of the back of the fight, and now Tolerant is stepping forward with Pilot. It's all on this Ezreal. The play comes out, but the Cataclysm follows him. Pilot goes down. Cody takes the triple, and Tolerant goes golden, flashes away, but Cody is on the chase. Tolerant will not escape today. A quadra kill for the Clutch AD carry.
And just as we say, a team fight hits 7-0-2 on the Kai'Sa. Cody's son is massive. They walk away with Baron. They walk away with everything. And an 8,000 gold lead at the end of the day.
And we'll have another look at this fight. It was a 3v5 to kick us off.
Yeah, ambitious contest, kind of backs against the wall, not a lot of options, so has to be the play, and did look pretty close. Flash from Pilot means that he doesn't get stunned, cleans up Demonte with his mid laner. And I was mentioning, this is the 1-2 punch of Pilot and Seal in the team fight. Do make it close, but
Cody's son does such a good job of surviving at the back of this fight. And I mean, this is all cleanup, right? This is fine, but him dodging away from Seal as he gets in, using the killer instinct for the extra shield, played it very, very well.
buffers the W through the hook, QSSs anyway for style points, and easy.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
Yeah, Tolerant's dead again. This is a few times we have seen him being caught out in situations like that. Maybe just overstepping. Clutch will find their man. And at 26 minutes in, it's a 10,000 gold lead now for the North American third seed. It should be another game in their pocket. Convincing fashion, they've won these games. And Cocoon's going to land there onto Huni as Vulcan dodged in front of him. And Huni will fall. That's not the best. Was backing in an area where Royal really did have vision.
So, does fall down. Doesn't have the Zhonya's, of course, either. What turret is the contest? That's a hook lands.
EQ doesn't connect, though. There's the death from below as Pilot will fall. Vulcan takes the kill. Vanguard's edge used by Seal. He's still stunned up with the Pop Blossom, and he tries to jump onto the back of the fight, but Cody's son is legendary. This might just be the end of the game. Huni 25 seconds away. 2 cannon minions coming in here for Clutch, and Royal really can't do too much about it. Cody's son just opens up on the turrets. Armut flashes in, but another QSS from Cody's son. Armut goes golden, but the stopwatch won't stop time for long. Clutch get another kill, 20 kills to 9. This has been a dominant performance from the North American third seed, and with these cannons, they're just
They've got
waiting
no
for the
creeps.
They're coming, EGEM. The TP comes in, Huni's going to join the party. Still 5 seconds left on Pilot, and here come the minions. Clutch Gaming will take the second Nexus tower, and all that remains is the Nexus. Cody's son jumps forward, 10-0-4, and now it's 2-0 for Clutch.
And like Rakan over Syndra would be interesting. Something extraneous being thrown into the mix could be another option, and maybe you do throw up something like that mage and then Clutch change their priorities. Okay, GP ban.
Okay, so the GP ban means that Clutch only get either Syndra or Rakan.
Yes.
Which is the big thing here.
And
Also, reduces the pool for Huni in that top lane. Syndra locked in. We have seen that flex, and we'll see where Royal go with their next 2 picks.
Yeah, and you do mention the pool for Huni, right? Out of all of the games before this best of 5, Huni had copped 2 of 3 of a Qiyana, or sorry, I should say Clutch, Qiyana, Rumble, or GP bans. So, we'll do the same here. Kai'Sa lock in with a Syndra available. Not sure if Cody's son has learned that one recently, been able to pick that one up and throw it into the matchup, but that has been one of the successful ones. It looks like that won't be the case, and it is just blind here for Damonte.
I think that's fine. Cody Sun is much more of an AD carry player. He's played one game of Sona this split. Apart from that, everything he picks is AD carries. So getting an AD carry for him, it seems to be paramount. Syndra, as you say, locked in. There's the Rek'Sai, and now we'll see if the Thresh is Vulcan's choice, and it is.
Okay, taking that one away from Tolerant. Had a super rough game on it in the last one, and also Flay interaction with Jarvan. Can be super useful, so a lot of options open up here.
I'm honestly still surprised that Lyra hasn't picked his Skarner.
Yeah.
He went 12-3 on it in the regular season, 9-1, I think, from playoffs through Gauntlet. So not picking it when it's been open every single time, it hasn't caused any problems for Cloud.
Yeah.
Right? They're playing through the early game, they're putting pressure around top, that's fine. But it's just surprising to me when you have such a champion that you're so strong at.
And I think it is really the fact that pre-level 6 doesn't offer much. Like, Skarner into Jarvan is a pickable champion. You get to that level 6 mark and in later teamfights, even with a Gargoyle, Jarvan very often just dashes super far ahead of the rest of his team. He's like a solo diver there, and then you just ult him up, take him back into your backline. He gets one hit and the teamfight is yours. So not the most surprising that Clutch indexed a little bit earlier on that early game advantage, and you don't see him so much, but...
So now we have the Orianna locked in for Seal, and then the Aurelia ban. Lots of focus up towards that top side. We have seen Armored, of course, play the Kled. He also plays Gnar and Jace pretty well, so there's some options left for him. Rakan taken away by Clutch. They don't want that Kai'Sa-Rakan combo we see so often. But things like the Nautilus are still up.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if Tolerant goes towards that.
And you can see with their last ban as well, LB being thrown at Damonte, they're not certain that this Syndra is just going to be the mid matchup. They're trying to force it. Orianna versus Syndra years ago was like the staple just control mage matchup, and it's like, okay, like pre-level 6, Ori has the advantage, and then kill pressure comes online when you get that ulti as Syndra, but has changed over the course of time, and they're not willing to throw 5 bans at Huni, leverage it somewhat. Oh, okay.
Okay.
we go.
That's an aggressive bot lane. I like this from Royal. They're saying we have to change things up. Let's pick the Blitzcrank. Buffed, of course, on 919. So strong, he even needed a little bit of a hot fix, bug fix, where he was picking people from too far away.
Yeah, I believe they removed some of the lollipopping. That's when skill shots get bigger at just the end of their range. So it allowed him to take things like blue buff from the river.
Yeah, it was pretty disgusting, I have to admit. Lucian will be the lock for the bottom side. Clutch going for the Thresh Lucian lane. This does open up very strong ganks early on for closer on the Jarvan, because the level 2 gank towards mid, Syndra's so low mobility, can be quite easy for him to be caught out.
Yeah, certainly could be the case. The Lucian lock-in for Cody Sun, I like that a lot. Having a dash against a Blitzcrank lane. Look, it doesn't even need describing.
Lucian
That's super
top.
useful.
It's Lucian top.
Okay, yeah,
Or
all
is it
right.
Ezreal top? Or is it Syndra top?
It's
Who
definitely going to be Lucian top.
Huni juggles everything. Are you sure?
I'm fairly sure.
Okay.
99%.
How much would you bet on it being Lucian top?
I'm not a betting man.
Okay. Well, that's ruined.
Just really shut you
ruined
down.
the whole conversation.
Yeah,
That's
bad
fine.
luck.
Royal Youth, where are they going to go? Top laner left.
4 seconds. Do they match with like Trist?
Cassio.
Cassio? That could be one. Okay. Timeout. Jace. Okay.
So Jace is Armut's, one of Armut's most played. Played it 4 times.
And I believe one of his most winningest champions in their qualification series over the likes of players like Frozen and Huni, and Wolf. The imports on Supermassive, an organization you will know. Armut had a monster performance in their game number 5 to clinch their place at Worlds. And now 1 game away from going home, locks that into Huni.
So I'm holding my breath. We have 6 seconds left. And you might be very happy you didn't bet in a moment's time.
No way.
It's Ezreal top.
Okay.
It's Ezreal top.
Alrighty.
Okay, Huni's bringing out the big guns for this game. Of course, being 2-0 up, you can experiment, you can take a few risks. Ezreal into Jace, I will be honest. A matchup I have
Not an
never
expert.
seen before.
Yeah.
One that I'm not too experienced on, but we'll see how that develops. Give me a rundown of how you expect the early game to go for these 2 teams.
Well, I mean, like, let's talk about that Ezreal versus
Okay,
Jace,
yeah.
right? Like, they do similar-ish things in terms of throwing the Lucian there or the Ezreal. Ezreal can be much more negative, much more effectively. Lucian will require resources. up on the top side, and it does kind of skew things, this one. This is a much harder team comp to execute from Clutch. Double 80 carry, again, yes, but they don't have an equalizer that was really the proactive move that gave them a lot of their plays. It was Huni with Prio. He rotates over and then forces the fights for them. This is back to the experimentation that Clutch were doing through the group stage, and now with confidence of a 2-0 series scoreline right now, Royal Youth going to have to answer back.
And this is the time to be a little bit confident, a little bit arrogant perhaps, and pick something like the Ezreal top. I'm sure, of course, Huni has practice on it, but it's just not something we commonly see. One game stands between Clutch and World's groups. And Royal will be looking to reverse sweep. They have to win all 3 of the next 3 if they're going to take it. Tolerant is up towards top side right now.
Blitzcrank doing the old Scion strat, but on the other side of the map. He's got his wheels. He's just zooming towards that bush. Doesn't want to go for the third one, but...
Does he stay here?
Oh, he's going for the deep flank. Okay, they're thinking Huni is in that bush in the river.
He's
Fortunately
not.
for him, standing much further down, but...
So, yeah, I think Tolerant has to back here, otherwise you have too long, where Pilot is by himself down towards the bottom side. And against a Thresh and a Lucian, you can just be harassed down so easily on that first wave.
And it really didn't cost them anything, right? In terms of level 1, Clutch aren't the strongest, so they're not looking for any early bot side invades or anything like that, so Tolerant goes up. You could have forced the E start from Huni. If he'd already leveled an ability, you could have forced the flash over the wall. And if he fails both those things, that could have been a first blood, right? So the opportunity cost them next to nothing, and we'll just walk back towards the bottom side. As the little Blitzcrank that he is.
There might be a really late invade here. It's actually not going to happen. I saw Lyra and Demonte teaming up and trying to push up towards this red buff from closer, but they just get a ward in. And so they won't go for the invade. Lyra will start his blue by himself. Closer will start his red by himself. And it means neither jungler will be spotted out early on.
Yeah, and you saw for just a second Ezreal, Huni, rotating down the river and saw that the Jarvan was actually starting in lane, pulling that one. That is a very nice ward, going to stop out any form of level 2 shenanigans here. Huni does have a point in the queue, so no E to get himself to safety. He knows exactly where Closer is on this top side of the map.
Definitely does. Closer, as you say, spotted out on the ward. Unable to get that level 2 gank he was looking for. Huni is running Kleptomancy on the Ezreal top, as you would expect.
Classic.
Taking some notes out of perhaps Nuguri's book, saying, oh, well, I want to run Kleptomancy, but I'll do it on a champion that usually does it instead of something like Camille.
It's also just Ezreal, right? So not a lot of rune choices to be had up there. Maybe if you're going like an AP build, you could potentially look for something else, but it's kind of the expected play. I want to kind of take a look at this bot side matchup. The reason Blitzcrank is picked here into the Thresh is that it negates Vulcan's ability to be a hook Thresh. This is something I talk about. Being a Lantern Thresh as a Thresh player, it's no fun.
It's nowhere near as fun.
You just walk around, you got your Moby boots, you're just saving your jungler wherever he goes in. It's a tunnel forward from Lear and then a Lantern back to safety. Because if you charge up the hook, it has a charge up time, whereas just as you saw, Tolerant presses the button, goes out, hook comes back immediately, and if you do try and be proactive in the matchup, you do just get straight up punished to the 2 versus 2. Now with the extra range is that little bit more effective, and Tolerant showed it in the group stage in their Fiora game. They split pushed their way to victory. It's not his first time even playing it on the world stage.
Definitely not. And as you were saying, the hook from Blitzcrank just that bit quicker than the hook from Thresh, so it means you can counteract the enemy hook. I have asked our stats team to research some Ezreal stats for me.
Okay.
Do you want some knowledge bombs here?
Yeah, let's go.
Last time Ezreal was played top in a non-troll game, so a game that had meaning. 2015 LMS qualifiers. It did not win.
That's a longie. Okay.
The last time it won was 2012 Champions Spring in Korea. So
7 years ago.
7 years ago.
God.
It's a long, long time ago. Huni's most played champion, though, in solo queue on EU West has been Ezreal. 71% win rate over 35 games. So he's had a lot of practice on this champ in the top lane.
I'm assuming that is a reasonable mix of 80 carry and maybe some top lane gains here and there. I wouldn't expect that many games to be thrown towards Ezreal in the top lane, but
you never know.
If anyone was going to do it, it would be Huni.
He's constantly the experimenter. I still remember, Cassiopeia, Lucian top, both of those his inventions mostly. Although I'm sure he took inspiration from some places. Lyra did come up towards the mid lane here.
That's actually the hardest thing with calling people like his invention. Because scrim culture happens and we don't get a look in.
That's why he took inspiration from other players.
And
he's
then
the one that made it famous.
It's like, player X is just grinding Cassio top for literal years and then isn't the first one to play it on stage. And you're like, oh, man.
Oh, see. Flash in, hitting Vulcan in the bottom lane. Looking for the Lantern onto Cody Santolerant to get the knockup. Pilot ticking down. Should be an easy enough kill here for Clutch. Burst blood to Vulcan. And now they're looking for the chase on Tolerant. Another play. The hook doesn't land, though. And Tolerant still has the mana barrier. Cody's unable to dodge away.
And perfectly played there from Clutch. They get the 2v2. Pilot loses his heal, doesn't blow his flash, and at the end of the day, Cody gets lanterned forward, so didn't even have to use his dash, his relentless pursuit, so can get away from Tolerant. The only real scary thing against a Blitzcrank when he's underneath his turret is that hook into turret. So if you have the dash available, super easy. And now this bottom side of the map for a series that has been decided on the other side is a super good start here for Clutch.
Oh, getting Cody ahead is so instrumental for Clutch as they get towards those mid-game fights. And right now, we've yet to see Closer have an effect on the map, and in a pure 2v2, they know the hook's down, which is very important.
And you see the immediate punish. Vulcan, Flash Flay gets both lanterns over the top, and Tolerant kind of maybe had a window if you can hook the lantern that could have been a flash away from the Kai'Sa.
But because you know the hook's down.
Yeah.
So
Actually, yeah, 100%. Wasn't even available.
Deal
Okay.
here. Lira might go in for it with the Void Rush, gets the Unburrow knock-up. The scat of the week is monumental. DeMonte gets the kill in mid. And Clutch once again off to a flying start in this game.
Yeah, second to the play. Counter gank is easy there for Lira, and the Mobies from Vulcan gets him to the mid lane off the back end as well. Tolerant in the area, but multiple lanes. 6 minutes into this one, already 2-0 start. 1,000 gold is the lead, and Clutch continuing to dominate.
It's so difficult for Royal to do anything about this. Haven't seen Closer really able to get those ganks off. His level 2 was stymied by Huni and Lura in the top lane, and now is a 1,500 gold lead for Clutch. Very difficult for the Turkish representatives to get back in this one.
So we'll take another look at what happened. DeMonte holds his flash on the Shockwave, and Closer coming in just gets dodged out very easily. Remember, Hail of Blaze there from Lira. Stun from DeMonte is a very easy cleanup, and yeah, just well executed. Holding their nerve, not blowing summoners when they don't need to, and Punisher Swift.
Whole level advantage now for Lira over Closer. Has 10 extra CS as well. Lira now level 6 has the Void Rush if they want to go for a fight, but for the moment it looks like Clutch just want control of this bottom side river. Tolerant's going to land the hook here onto Vulcan. Vulcan, no flash. There's a blast cone there as well, but Tolerant's going to knock himself straight into Cody's side. The hook lands from long range, onto Closer, and now Tolerant is in the worst of shapes, has to flash away.
And how did he hook Thresh over the wall, gets blast plant forward, and has to flash to safety? That is a disastrous scenario. Vulcan just somehow walks away with it. He's happy.
I mean, the thing was, you could see it happening. I could see it happening, so Tolerant should have been expectant of it. Was trying to get to the blast cone first, but Vulcan very happy just to knock him back into his team. Means that Blitz no longer has the flash. Of course, is running Hex Flash, so has a couple of options, but very hard now to have that instantaneous flash hook.
Yeah, and every time the hook is down, the punish is there. That was straight up 1 versus 2. Oh, okay.
I mean, Armut has a 100% win rate on this Jace, so Huni is suffering the consequences of that. You've got Serrated Dirk already finished in that top lane. True Shot Barrage will clear out the way, but Armut will be looking to start knocking down plates up towards this top side.
And that's kind of the thing, right? In terms of Jace, hold that thought, okay.
You need to hold that thought, because Tolerant is ignited and ticking down, and he's going to fall again. The Clutch bottom lane is just destroying Royal right now. Pilot can do nothing about
Dash?
it. Cody's Sun going in, the Killer Instinct not quite enough. Vulcan stepping forward, hook just millimeters wide.
Another 2 versus 2 kill. They cannot quite find the second. Pilot on a sliver of HP.
Almost has to heal
deciding
back
whether he
up.
sticks around in this one.
I think
Cody's
he's
Sun.
looking for the bait. Cody's Sun! Goodbye, Pilot!
And Lantern out of turret range. Another plate off the back end, and this bottom lane is just going from bad to worse. The CS lead is not there, but kills all over the place. This can't be happening for Royal. You saw Armut forcing the flash from Huni on the top side. The Jace just being more effective at what he's doing right now on the Rift, but bottom lane is bleeding.
10 CS behind, already 0-2 on the Kai'Sa. There's about 700 gold behind in that lane, and Essence Reaver on its way for Cody's Sun. Top lane is the place to be for both the junglers, as Lira perhaps caught out just a tad here by Closer. The knockup's going to land. There's a Cataclysm as well, and here comes Armut, first kill of the game for Royal. They find one in the top lane.
Just greedy pathing from Lira, gets spotted out, flash commit from the Jace, and very easy cleanup. Playing around the Ezreal with no flash, no ability to play through is a difficult one. See how this happened.
Oh, he hooks a minion.
The switcheroo. Tolerant getting desperate with a Hex Flash there, and Vulcan just predicts, he knows where he's going, looking for the hook around the minions, and that is not going to be it as we speed through. The hook goes just that little bit wide, but the damage calculation, yes, heal is available in a second, but Pilot, no pot ticking, just dies.
Yeah, Huni can just jump away from this. Doesn't have the flash. It's actually gone Cull for that little bit extra gold in his back pocket. Has obviously been learning from our first series of the day.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, think about this top lane match. Both of them want to play at range, but in terms of itemization, it's a tier Cull versus a lethality spike there for Jace. Armwood is going to be much stronger, much quicker in this game, and they do play similar things. Vulcan.
Oh. Very close to getting the Jarvan out of his EQ combo. Vulcan coming up here with the flash. Now, once again, it's clutch gaming, guys, and 10 minutes are on the clock, so it's time for Rift Herald.
Okay.
Tolerant could look for a hook across this wall. Pretty easy to hit those now. Huni takes a bit of a chunk of damage. Lyra there, tanking up the Rift Herald. Seal on his way.
Oh!
Right, so on the way down as well. Tolerant unable to connect. He's in the box now. Caught out in the midst of all of clutch. And Tolerant is having a nightmare of a game.
Yeah, that was a train wreck. Threshed through the queue. The hook could have landed guaranteed flashless on Vulcan, but comes a little bit too late. Gets flayed into multiple members. Now Rift Herald and the kill goes over. Lyra able to pick that one up. Shepherding through his top side as well. Has been dinged. Uses the double sweeper as well, so looking to clear out some of that ward. Got the reset off the cooldown, and this is going to bash in. More gold going to Cody's son.
2,000 gold ahead now. As you say, those plates fall on the top side. Clutch extending that lead piece by piece, bit by bit. And really, Royal really struggling to do anything about it. Tolerant, their key man in terms of catching people out, is once again almost going to fall. The culling doesn't quite connect. But it is a bit of an odd one here. If I asked you at the start of the day who would have a more convincing series, would it be Damwon or would it be Clutch?
Yeah.
I don't think anyone would have said Clutch, but they have been just devastating in this best of 5.
Absolutely, you can hear applause from the audience. Huni was also the one to be gifted the plates on the top side, so demanding some of that gold. And this is the interaction. Hook now, whilst he's locked in the animation, but Aftershock buys Tolerant a little bit of time, but he's going absolutely nowhere. And once again, this is the expected play. It hurts.
It's gotta hurt. It's gotta hurt. When you see one of your players that you've coached through thick and thin, you've coached through the entirety of 2018 struggle to find his mark. 2019,
2018,
sorry.
I was like, hey.
I've gone back in time there for a second. Now, Lyra perhaps caught out. Tolerant is going to land the hook this time, but Vulcan's on the way with the play. Armor coming in from the side. Lyra goes in with a Void Rush, and Tolerant once again the man to fall. Ignited. Lyra, one Praise Seeker to find his mark, and another kill goes down. Seal trying to come across to help his team out. It's a 4v3. Lyra's going to walk away, making it a 3-for-3 in this bottom lane. Vulcan with the Cataclysm coming out and closer. Goes down. Vulcan stopwatches the shockwave, and Royal just can't get anything to go their way. Culling coming out. Seal forced away underneath the tower, and this will be the second tower of the game for Clutch.
And the difference is committal. TP comes through. Huni lands at the play, but Royal just stutter stepping all over the place. Damonte being left alone in mid lane, just pushing that way further and further. 13 minutes, the second dragon getting taken as the turret dies as well. Double 80 carry duo able to pick that one up, and Clutch, the games are just getting quicker and quicker as the series progresses.
Such good play here from Clutch. Royal, of course, knocked out Flamengo in the group stage as well. They're probably commiserating with the Brazilian brothers right now at a 7-1 scoreline. We'll see this once again. Tolerant uses the hook very early on.
Yeah, and I didn't see before this play happened. Did they know that we're in the bush? Because hook onto a Rek'Sai gets a double knock-up. Lyra burns the flash to get the cleanup of the back end, and in just a second, like the culling comes through, they're just fishing for damage on the turret. You can see on the minimap as well, Kai'Sa catching top underneath her own turret, leaves Damonte alone, so bottom side is losing. Syndra's getting free gold off the opposite side of the map, and everyone from Royal just dancing around, not willing to commit to the play, and with a Blitzcrank composition, you have to go for that.
You really do. Vulcan's been absolutely on point with this Thresh so far this game. Playing around Tolerant very well. Of course, Tolerant has been making mistakes. We are up towards those first completed items. Essence Reaver on Cody's son. Luden's Echo finished on Damonte. He's got a lot of damage already on this Syndra. And look at the plate differential. Royal actually getting 7 plates surprises
that's
me,
the surprising thing.
I guess a lot of that is through Armut in the side lane, just pushing into Huni over and over again. 600 extra gold for Clutch across the course of those first 14 minutes. They are 5,000 gold ahead at the 15-minute mark and absolutely dominant performance by them, and now they're just looking to open up this mid tower.
Yeah, and the real problem is that the Jace was an avenue to play through. He should have had a gold lead, but because of Klepto, because the plates have been gifted to Huni, he's actually basically dead even between the Jace and the Ezreal. He was getting flashed on underneath his turret, losing his own flash in the hands of Huni, and goes back, buys a Tear and a Cull. Should not have been relevant for a very long time, but because Clutch have found the ability to force around their bottom lane, Cody Sun and Vulcan coming up huge in this last game just means that super difficult to find anything, and 6k gold lead, 15 minutes.
It has just got better
That's a
game by
biggie.
game. Like, Clutch have just played similar compositions, similar styles, game by game, and Royal have never had an answer. And obviously a lot of credit goes to Clutch. They've played it very well.
Yeah.
But Royal, the answers they've looked for just haven't been effective.
Yeah, this game, third game, has been all punish.
Yeah.
Right? Like, just off the back end of plays, the 2 versus 2 in the bottom side, every time Hook is down, they punish the Blitzcrank. Blitzcrank looks for a pick. They look to punish, they bring the TP. Huni comes down. This is Clutch just being all over the place right now, and options looking slim. It's 8 kills, only 15 minutes in. There's almost nothing to play for right now. They're just pushing in the side lanes because mid lane is really all that's left. You can see exactly the setup here from Clutch Gaming. Bottom side pushed in eventually. Top side will be the same thing, and eventually that should give them the rotate towards mid. But it's a multi-step process, and until they can bring all their members, the wave clear will be there. But at this stage, it just does look like an inevitability here from Clutch.
Definitely does. Of course, Royal Youth on the receiving end of shellacking this game. You do want to remember where they came from. The first time this organization has been to Worlds, the first time any of these players have been to the World stage, beating Supermassive 3-2 in their grand finals. The team that we usually see from Turkey. You want to give them some credit. They fought hard. They were able to take the tiebreaker over Flamengo after coming in to that second day of games at 0-3, but 0-2. It's just such a challenge when you meet up against a team that have more experience than you and that have this playstyle so refined.
Yeah, right? And let's think about it big picture. The TCL as a region as a whole, we've seen so many representatives, and you can go super far back. Like, we've seen DP, we've seen Supermassive recently, we've seen 1907 Fenerbahce, we've seen Besiktas as well. Like, this is actually one of the stronger emerging regions in terms of international performance, and yeah, right now struggling against Clutch. It is the potential last game of the season, and if this is it, will be a disappointing way for Royal Youth to bow out of the tournament, but they've shown so much success, the creativity. The Blitzcrank has already won them a game in the group stage. Certainly not the place they want to be, but for their first time on the world stage.
Yeah. When you have something like a Blitzcrank, the chance for an upset is always there. One hook is all it really takes to find your connection, but Vulcan is the one with the hook. Vulcan is the one who sentences Seoul to death, and now Clutch can just pushing a 4v5 mid, double AD carry on their side. Royal trying to answer back. It's Armut who gets the damage in from the side. There's another hook to the connect. It's Vulcan pulled in, and here goes the damage. Clutch trying to fight it out. 4v4 right now. Pilot jumping in with a killer instinct, but he is immediately focused down, and Cody Sun flashes forward and takes down his enemy man.
Clutch just take everything, double turrets, double picks off the back end, and the one hook that does land brings Rek'Sai into the back lines. Play from Vulcan is able to clean that one up, and now Dragon going to be the triple ocean off the back end, and Clutch just demolishing this one.
Third ocean of the game here. Clutch basically gives you the same healing as a Warmog's armor when you are out of combat. Very difficult to play around. Infernal's next as well if the game gets that far, but right now Clutch are looking unstoppable. Seal, it's a great hook again from Vulcan.
Yeah, and it's exactly what I just talked about, right? Bottom lane will push in, top lane will push in. All 5 members rotate to the play, they find a hook, and now without Orianna, wave clear is difficult. Big stun from Damonte. Hooks traded between the supports here, I misspoke, was not the Rek'Sai, but that's just a multi-man play up the back end, and very nice usage of the stopwatch means that Pilot gets punished off the back end. Cody, this game has been super on point, instant reaction, and coaching staff super happy with that one.
Right, it's a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag. One of them very happy. Oh, like, could have been slightly better, but I'll take a 7,000 gold lead at 19 minutes.
Yeah, we take those.
Cody Sun 5-0-3 at the moment on this Lucian, has the Infinity Edge complete alongside that Essence Reaver, and Baron is up in just a few seconds time. With Triple Ocean, it's actually a lot easier to take the Baron because you can regenerate while it is damaging you. It's only damage from enemy champions that stops that regeneration. Now Huni's going to match up straight into Armut. Misses the Mystic shot.
Does have chase potential, of course. Jace, not the most mobile champion, does have move speed, but against a Frozen Fist, if Huni does land that beginning Q, then certainly could eventuate into a good situation. Even with the CS deficit on the top side, you have to think by now the plate's the global gold. Huni is probably up in gold easily. And yeah, he's exactly the case. 500 up in the isolated 1v1, has been gifted so much this game. And Clutch game with a 4-1 split now, just taking more turrets off the map.
In a strong position overall. And you can hear the round of applause from the crowd, because this is basically what we've seen the last couple of games. Like, it's a muted round of applause. A little bit of cheering, but the expectation here for Clutch is they close this one out pretty easily. That's what they've done the last couple of games. 7,000 gold ahead at the 20-minute mark makes it very difficult for Royal to find anything out of it. And it would need to be multiple plays from Royal Youth. It'd have to be multiple catches. You know, you're catching at least 2 or 3 people to really get these plays working. Armor's trying to fight against Huni, but Huni wins that. 1v1, Huni does what he does best and takes out the enemy top lane.
And he doesn't even have to base. He's got a Vamp Scepter, he's got Triple Ocean Dragon. So sitting on 20% HP will just remain on the bottom side of the map. And remember, it is after 20 minutes, but the Baron hasn't been even looked at this point. They're just breaking everything with all of their members. Stun is going to land. Afraid of the Blitzcrank hook, but pushing forwards meant that Cody was left alone with an Infinity Edge with a basically completed Zeal item after this reset in the Essence Reaver. He is a monstrous Lucian, left alone with a turret. Makes easy work of it.
And right now, Clutch in the ascendancy. It's been a really strong couple of months from them. Of course, their start of their summer split was pretty bad. We'll talk about that after we watch Huni outplay Armor. So Armor goes for this, and Huni's just like, well, good flash.
Yeah. Flashing, trying to flash over some damage.
I think
Q,
that's,
of course, can be buffered, but
that's one of those plays where in real time, you don't see all of the intricacies in it. And so, you know, it's one I'd watch back at, 25% speed and really see the exactitudes of when the auto attacks come in, how much does he get away from. But yeah, Clutch over the last couple of months have looked like a team transformed. Their summer split very, very disappointing at the start, and then they really started to come into their own. Of course, taking Team Liquid to 5 games in the semi-final in NA, then managing to fight their way all the way through the gauntlet, beating TSM in the reverse sweep. And I think this is kind of the culmination of that for the moment, making it there into groups. Of course, their expectation will be they can take some games in groups, but the likelihood of them getting into Group C and going up against SKT, RNG, Fnatic is quite high in the way that the groups work out.
And I think the big thing, hold that, Vulcan.
Lane comes out, Osa pops a stopwatch. Pilot's gonna jump in, they're looking for the damage onto Vulcan. That's one down, with the rest of Clutch are here now. Huni's joined in with the teleport, it's a 5v4. Royal might want this. If Tolerant can find a hook, they can still go for the fight, but look at how low Royal are, and look at how much regen Lyra is getting. Already almost back up to full HP.
And the wave's already pushed in both side lanes. Royal Youth have to commit all of their members to try and find a pick, and even when they do in this situation, Flash Ignite gone from Vulcan, they cannot get any of the control back on this one. Seal cancel.
Seal had to be healed. The damage from Huni with that Blade of the Ruined King, a single auto attack, almost takes down the enemy Syndra. Armut is backing here in the bottom lane. Should be able to get away, manages to escape.
And to your point, right, I think the big thing from Clutch is that they came into their own. Those are your words, and 100% agree.
Yep.
Qualification for group stage worlds here. Huni playing Ezreal top into Jace. Nothing could be more Clutch than this situation, right? And that was the success for a roster with a young NA mid laner like Damonte. Being able to play the champions you're good at cannot be understated.
Oh, okay. Incredible hook there from Damonte. Cataclysm comes up, but it's out. Talk about NA mids.
There we go.
Damonte, the man to hang your hat on right now. That's Tanner time.
That's what you like to see. I don't know how the Shockwave didn't pull him out of Lantern, but he made it.
Sometimes the coding goes in your favor, and that seems to be what happened there. But the reactions to flash away from the hook, get away from the Cataclysm, just enough range.
Yes. And that's one of those things, right, where he flashed forwards. You see it with Xayahs all the time. It's just a reactionary click of the button.
Yeah.
You don't want to like flash in a direction. You're not thinking about it. It's just I need to flash wherever my mouse currently is, and that time flashing forwards towards the Blitzcrank doesn't sound like a good time, but gets himself to safety here. Vulcan rotating over. I mentioned the Lantern Thresh at the start of this game hasn't been that for the majority, but in the right place, in the right time, and saves his mid laner. Now breaking the base without the use of Baron buff.
So Royal are giving up a little bit of pressure on their mid lane to have Armut push in bot, but right now it's Really not working out too well for them because Huni and Cody Sun can just chip away at this inhibitor very easily. Armored's still pushing in for the tier 2 bot lane. It looks like Demonte has the TP, could join his team here, but Royal really unable to hold on to the inhib right now. Should fall pretty soon. Huni just needs one more auto on it.
Of course, Ezreal can actually buffer the Blitzcrank hook. I like the play here from Vulcan. Just throwing a Lantern forward should allow your AD carry to stand on the Lantern. As soon as there's a response, then you just take it to safety. And once again, I'll say it all without Baron buff. No team fights whatsoever. 25 minutes, they've broken the middle inhib of this game. And Armored's only trade with the bot lane in a turret.
And now you get control of the enemy jungle as well. Armored actually caught out here. Huni's going to jump straight in and doesn't even need Lyra's help to clean this one up. Lyra will take it in the end. A bit of a KS there from the Rek'Sai. It was all Huni's doing. Armored no longer can trade 1v1. Huni's actually out-farmed him this game, even after falling behind early on.
Certainly true. Is easy when you're winning.
Yep.
I'll say that. You get access to more fun. Armored has been grouping up with the rest of his team somewhat and been starved of resources, but certainly coming back online. You can see actually the pings on the minimap right now. Right here on top of that ward. They know where it is.
Yeah, it's been there twice.
2 games in a row. Royal Youth have found a way to place that without it being denied. And
no one
third
fools
time.
Clutch Gaming 3 times in a row.
Yeah. It's not going to be it. Lyra doesn't have a sweeper just yet, but
Yeah, there's a couple of control wards. Demonte has 2. Vulcan has 2. The only problem is I think Vulcan's is actually sitting deep in the jungle.
supports are kind of that role, supports and junglers, where you have the most freedom on the map.
Yeah.
So it tends to be like, okay, solo laners, maybe your AD carry, places a pink ward in the pit because you expect it to stick around for a long time. And as Vulcan walking out of base, placing a pink just to clear a ward you know that is there,
Yep.
and then placing it immediately somewhere else. Like, that's not a foreign concept. That's something that happens all the time in professional play. So clearing it out doesn't make a lot of
used to
sense
play
here.
during the days when supports just bought wards. That was
Yeah.
all we did, right?
That was fun, to be honest.
I quite enjoyed that meta.
Yeah.
It was quite good. Getting a heart of gold and a philo stone and just 15 wards in your inventory.
It was fun to win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
definitely
not fun if you had oracles and the enemy
Yeah.
team had an assassin.
Yeah, just like a heart of gold.
Yeah.
Nunu
It's like,
jungle
I've
was just
invested
running around.
400 gold
Yeah.
into getting this one item, and if I die, I lose it.
Uh-huh.
And I'm playing Sona. I died a lot, I'll be honest. And right now, Royal trying to find a way back into the game. It's they're still 9,000 gold behind.
Okay.
Clutch have total control here. Close it has got a flank position. Vulcan maybe stepping up a little bit too far. Huni's up towards the top side. It's Clutch just want to look for that second inhibitor. Huni actually has the flank potential and has a lot of poke.
Yeah, they just didn't have line of sight. Vulcan was standing a little bit too far up around this corner here, so they were sitting in fog. We're looking for the hook, but unfortunately for Tolerant, wasn't able to find it.
Well, maybe Royal just going to pull the trigger on a fight. Huni's going to poke in. Essence Flux doesn't quite connect.
Oh.
That was the skin of your teeth there, Huni. Just able to dodge out from the side of it. And now Clutch once again regain control of the red side jungle. It's pretty easy for them to push Royal back. Well, no vision on the river, no vision on the pit. It's one good ward just by the Razor Beaks, which means they do know if Clutch all back away.
So the 5-man contest has to be the play. Top wave crashing, now being farmed up by Pilot. Rotating over to the play does give Clutch some time. Not willing to just start up a Baron.
You
I
say
say
that
that as
Cody
Cody.
starts it up.
He just jumps over the wall, but they're looking for the fight first. But if Royal Youth is not going to give it to him,
Okay, so that Baron's down to 8,000 HP already. Huni on the flank, Demonte there as well.
cool.
Oh, it's Vulcan actually who's there as well. Doesn't quite hit the hook, but the Baron just chipping away, going lower and lower. The hook doesn't connect Intolerant either. Here goes Closer jumping in. The Baron still the target. Closer unable to get the kill. They do get Tolerant in the end, but Closer will fall and the Baron goes down to Clutch. Now Pilot has to join the fight. He gets onto Huni. Huni tries to jump away, but Pilot finds his man, finds his mark, and now Clutch will be on the retreat. Royal shouldn't be able to chase them too much further, but Clutch get out with 3 Barons alive.
yes, that singular pick onto Huni, enough to dissuade the push. Resets will come through here from Clutch Gaming. Bottom wave needs to be caught. Dragon also up and available. Cody Sun may have found Tolerant though, just face checking.
Yeah, Tolerant's dead. I've said that a lot of times this game. He's struggled sometimes, well, struggled early on to find the hooks, now struggled to position in a way that doesn't get him caught out.
And to do some service to him, right? Blitzcrank, when you're ahead and you sit on pinks, you deny vision, opportunities, they walk towards you, but from behind, you have to be the one to face check here. You have to be the one to place that vision down, and super struggle town here. Everything used on the Thresh, and Aftershock cops the brunt of it. Yes, he falls down off the back end, and Pilot is able to find the W, is able to find the one reason why the push didn't come through here from Clutch, and stalls the game out just that little bit longer.
I think the thing for Clutch here is, though, Damonte, Cody Sun, and Lyra still have the buff. Lyra can be a bodyguard for anyone in a side lane if he wants to sit with Huni. As he pushes in a different lane to the rest of the team, he can do that pretty easily. And Royal, once again, just pen back into their own jungle. Really, even not getting many of their own camps because they've been cleared out by Clutch. 5 dragons strong now, Clutch. Looking for a 6th if they want it. It would be an Infernal, and then the Elder Dragon spawns. Actually, very, very close to when it would have spawned before. 35 minutes, of course, is that Elder Dragon cutoff. So we're just before that for this Infernal.
We're also talking about an Elder Dragon when Baron push coming up. Clutch probably not wanting to extend the game out that far. They have double 80 carry. They have a Mountain Dragon, they have an Infernal. Structures are no consolation here for Royal Youth, as potentially the last push of this day is going to come through. The poke damage is there. The Lantern play once again from Vulcan. Clutch know exactly what they want to do, and the second inhib is under fire.
Mid inhib has respawned. Royal, 5 members strong, trying to look for this defense. So if he can land a good shockwave, it's only onto Cody Sun and really did no damage whatsoever. Seal, not that strong, and now the inhibitor is the target. Huni caught out with a long-range Boy Seeker. Lyra down towards the bottom side of the fight, just acting as a bodyguard for Armuten closer, and now Royal will rotate to the mid lane as Clutch do exactly the same. Shockwave still a 2/3 of its cooldown away.
And that's the thing, it really cost Clutch nothing to get that inhib. Shockwave, huge cooldown, necessary for a team fight win here for Royal Youth, and it was just a Lantern, it was an Ezreal ulti, a culling. Not the highest prize here.
Down.
There you go.
And now Clutch can just go up towards top. They prepped a wave, it's on its way. Huni was there just a couple of minutes ago, getting it set up for them, and that wave is pushing in. Royal will have to react to a side lane. Expect Armut to be down towards that bottom lane as the supers push in. You can see how hard it is even for him just to clear out the wave. And look, yeah, just look at how far back Seal is. Ludens and Banshees, because he had to get that Banshees to avoid Vulcan, and of course avoid Damonte with the knockback, but just means he has no damage yet on this Orianna, not farmed up enough.
And you see immediately, it's the Lucian W. Ardent Blaze actually takes down the shield, so passive, not really useful right now. Second inhib breaking. This has to be the stand here from Royal Youth.
Going in, there's the Cataclysm. Lyra in the mid lane. Armut on his way across, but Close is already gone. The hook landed onto Damonte, so he's fallen as well, and now it's a 4v4. Clutch fighting for their position in groups. 2-0 up. Armut forced back to the base. Has to clear out those super minions. Cody Sun stepping forward. Tolerant lands the hook onto Huni. Gets the knock up. Huni almost down. Somehow Pilot dives into the back line. And that's another kill for Royal. And they've managed to hold on for the moment. But Clutch aren't done yet. Cody Sun, Lyra, and Vulcan going to push in. Who is clearing out the Nexus towers? It's Armut. Cody Sun and Vulcan and Lyra decide they don't want to go any further, and Royal hold on to the game.
2 kills, a pick from Blitzcrank. Clutches on to life here, the Turkish representative. Baron timing out means no minions to play with. Of course, 2 inhibs already did. The third was not going to be the play. And you were talking about the Dragon. Potential play here from Clutch if they want it. Going to be spawning very close to the next Baron, but...
I mean, the thing is, you still have 3 minutes on mid and bot inhibs, so you could just hard force 5 top again, right? You could just say, in a 5v5, we win the fight, right? Super minions are pushing in the side lanes. Make sure that you have those waves pushed up relatively well, and it becomes quite easy for you here. I think Clutch just go a little bit too far.
Yeah, we'll take another look at what actually happens here. I was saying it has to be the last stand. Closer goes in. Very nice hook from Vulcan. Shepard's in a huge shockwave and is just going to be the 1-for-1. Surprised Lyra didn't go for the flash knock-up onto multiple people, and Huni, that was the reason. Burns his E getting to the inhib. Cannot buffer the hook. Goes down super easily. Tolerant taking advantage of Pilot once again, diving into the backline. Secures the kill, and that is enough to dissuade any further push.
Cody Sun still unkilled this game, though. 7-0 and 3. This team are 15-4, 16-4, I believe, when he goes deathless, so very difficult to lose a game when your AD carry is as strong as Cody Sun is right now. Pilot jumps in onto Huni, that's the Killer Instinct juice. Scatter the Weak was knocked onto Closer as he was forced away, but now Pilot might just have to flash the wall. Lyra could catch him out, doesn't realize that he's gone the long way round. Pilot will manage to get back to his team without having to burn any of those summoners. Huni caught out once again. Pilot doesn't have the Killer Instinct, so can't dive bomb onto that back line.
Kai'Sa W doing so much damage, and really the only thing keeping them in right now. Pilot actually monstering on this play. Infernal spawning. Huni's been sent to solo that one out. Bot wave pushing in as well has to be dealt with as the rest of Clutch just walking towards the Baron buff. This damage does not matter to Huni. He's got the lifesteal, he's got the triple ocean dragon.
Yeah, Bloodthirster and Blade of the Ruin King giving him well enough lifesteal to secure that. Cody Sun will take the red buff. That's the 6th dragon of the game. 2 Clutch, double Infernal, triple ocean, single mountain. I'll take that every day of the week. Not a cloud to be seen. It's a sunny day for Clutch as they are just 1 win away from securing their spot in Worlds Groups. The Baron, the target. Clutch will clear out all of this vision as they have done so many times before this series and dive straight onto it. And really, Royal have no way of answering. Look how quickly it goes down. Those double mountains doing a lot of work here for Clutch. That Baron's already gone.
Yep.
And only 1 inhibitor stands between them and victory.
Bot wave pushing in, mid wave pushing in had to be answered, and 6 dragons deep, 10, 12,000 gold lead here for Clutch. Not being able to contest the dragon, or the Baron I should say, from Royal Youth feels like a rough situation. Last inhib has to be the play, but still Jace dealing with a side lane. 4 versus 5 for at least another 10 seconds here.
Tolerant spotted out with the Redemption. Clutch going to push in towards this top lane inhib. This could be it. This could be the moment they secure their spot in groups. Huni, huge shield on him. Tanks up the Void Seeker closer. Chunked out, pops the gargoyles. He has to run away. Tolerant lands the hook onto Huni, but he's going to buff the E to get away. And now Clutch, all inhibitors down, can go towards mid. Bot has just respawned, and mid's going to respawn in a second. So I spoke a little bit too early. Clutch doing this one by the numbers. 36 minutes in, a 12,000 gold lead, and the win in their sights. 2-0 so far this series, just 1 more to go. Mid inhib, their next target, then the Nexus Towers, you have to feel, will be the objective here for Clutch.
They have to find a hook. Tolerant has flash available. Righteous Glory popped. Doesn't throw the hook towards them. Last inhib, gonna go down here.
3rd inhib is down. Clutch playing with their food. The scatter of the week knocks Tolerant back, and now Clutch, 5 members strong, will look for the end. Shockwave just flashed away from there. The first Nexus Tower is the target already. It's down. Demonte gonna get taken quite low, but Armored is the first one to fall. Goes into the GA. Pilot dives onto the backline, but immediately he hears Focus down. Demonte kills Armored. Clutch kill Royal, and this is the moment that Clutch secure their spot in Worlds Groups in convincing fashion. They will make it to the World Group stage.
And the 3rd game, almost a victory lap here.